Welcome back to The Bunt, the number one podcast in skateboarding. Brought to you by the number one shoe in skateboarding, Vans. Off the wall since 1960, motherfucking 6. I'm D Jones. I got my main man, the Ghost, with me. We got Jay Burrows and Antoine behind the scenes.
It's a cool
That's the recipe here at The Bunt. And you just know, we got something special this week, man. We getting towards the end of the season. Shit's heating up. Ghost, man. Tell them who we got in the building.
Bro, so hyped on this one. I don't know how you pulled it off, but Donald got the legend, Patrick O'Dell, on the pod. Great conversation. And I think that was one of the first times we tripped out just hearing someone's voice.
Dude, that was crazy.
So that was really sick, really fun. I felt like we could have talked to him forever. Lock in for that one. Then we taking y'all straight to the post office. One more week, so make sure to get them all in. And then the finals, NHL, NBA, heating up. By next week, they'll be wrapped up, but we breaking it all down. And what else was there? Some fighting news and some fucking golf news. So packed rundown. Let's lock in, baby.
We're trying to expand our horizons here, you know what I'm saying? Hit all the sports, little bits here and there, you know what I'm saying? Make sure, follow us on Instagram at The Bunt Live. Hit us up on our YouTube, youtube.com/@TheBuntLive. Hottest YouTube in the game. We're getting at least 2 posts a week going over there. Hit that subscribe, join as a member, do your motherfucking thing. We're going to hop back on the live soon. Maybe after one of the finals, NBA finals or NHL finals. So we'll hop on there for instant reaction like we know you guys are looking for. Then hit up our Patreon, patreon.com/thebunt. And last but not least, thebuntlive.com. Closer at a minimum right there. But you know, the Ghost and myself are in the lab cooking up something new. His 2 favorite words in the clothing game, a quick strike, are just around the corner.
Where did that come from?
All right, everybody's favorite segment. Lots and lots of footy coming out this week. It's the Ghosts Shoutout of the Week.
You already know what time it is. Shoutout of the Week, brought to you by The Den, a skate video app and home of The Den TV, your 24-hour skate video streaming channel. The biggest day of the year is right around the corner. That's right, Go Skate Day is coming up. We know you're probably going to skate till you're fully dusted, then crash on the couch with some homies and keep the celebration going all night. That's where The Den comes in. They've got you covered with the highest quality videos from your favorite brands, shops, and filmers, plus a few special Go Skate Day features to top it off. It's easy. The Den is the perfect way to close out the night. Download today for free on iPhone, Android, web, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. All right, D Jones, this one's coming as no surprise. Our main man, you know, we've been celebrating him basically all season. Curran Caples dropped that part that he was giving us some sneak peeks, and we were quizzing him about it. I think he did get the New York Ender that he was saying he was trying to get. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know he could do that trick, so hats off on the blunt kickflip, but the whole part, just a special little non-stop banging part, start to finish. Curran Caples doing it big. Go get his shoe.
The 3-flip lip, too?
Yeah. I didn't see that one coming.
Yo, I just need to, it's a big round of applause and congratulations to Curran, man. How he's just, taking his shit to a whole nother level the last couple of years. It's been truly amazing to watch. Bro, we're just fucking Curran cheerleaders these days over here, but I don't give a fuck.
Bro, the kickflip front wall ride of Sin, a little power slide
chill
on the way down.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
Chill.
I guess he didn't need that guest trick from me. I just told him I had him on a frontside air, but
he did that one like pillar to pillar. But sometimes his transition clips, like, he does them too easy. They don't look hard enough, Like, he always that, and he's just rolling away. You're like, oh, was that chill? Or no, that couldn't have been chill.
Yeah. I love that. Well, both of his Smith grinds, but I love the second Smith just chilling on a fatty to the street. Might have to go watch that again after this recording. You dig?
A Couple other shouts out this week, though. Shout outs this week, or shouts out. Rowan in the Baker vid, another Bunt alum. Absolutely, just reminding the people, I don't need last part to show you, who's running this shit. It's Rowan Zarilla going off in the Baker video.
Still him.
Yeah. One other, or actually I have two more. I've been watching my fair share of skating lately. Elijah Burrow dropped a gap to nose grind on Instagram. Are you fucking kidding me? That shit was insane. Obviously going to be coming up in the FA video, which premiered this past weekend, I think. Shouts out to Elijah. And then Romel Torres. Welcome to Converse part. You got to look at that one?
I did. I knew I forgot fucking something.
Bro,
so much good shit came out this week,
was
man. I'm like, is it December? Shit.
Romel Torres absolutely fucking snapped. Congrats to you getting on cons. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of him in the near future.
He's been snapping in the Habitat videos, clearly separating himself from the pack because, as we know, it ain't hard to get them shoe deals these days. So, yeah, definitely well earned. That kid is the truth.
It ain't easy to get those shoe deals.
Yeah, sorry. Did I say it is easy?
No, you said it ain't hard.
Oh, my bad. It's
just
extremely hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big shouts out to all those guys. Crazy skating this week. Ghost, only one thing left to do before we get into the epic Patrick O'Dell interview. I'm super happy to have him on the pod, but this past Saturday, just cruising around the West End, chill family day. We're like, where are we going to go get something to eat? A light bulb went off in my head. Bar Poet, man. Family friendly. Still serving Beamers, baby. You know how we did it. We got some Caesar salad, order of meatballs, pizza, cheese pizza for the Licklemon. They got spicy rigatoni. I had some braised short rib fettuccine and, a couple Beamers in the atmosphere. They got a DJ in there on Saturdays who was cooking it up. Bar Poet, epic patio as well. Your place to be all summer long. And they got the Beamers. Cheapest beer on the menu for one reason only, because we do this shit for the fucking people. You hear me? All right,
that's what's up.
We ain't in it to become fucking millionaires. We doing it for the people. Get that buzz going, man. And they got all the beers in this one fridge that's kind of cold, and Beamers in the real cold, man. Coldest beer in Bar Poet. Let's get it cracking. Patrick O'Dell, super happy to have him in here. Let's go, baby. We are super happy this week to have Patrick O'Dell in the building. Patrick, man, thank you for coming on the show. What's going on?
Thank you for having me.
Big ep. I don't know. Have you ever listened to the pod before?
I've listened to some of them.
Okay, that's fair. We don't ask to be a full-time job listening to us all the time.
I always listen to the ones where I know people. Like if a friend's on, I'll listen.
So then you'll know we start every show off the same. You got to hit us with your favorite skate moment and your favorite sports moment.
Yeah. I think anyone who knows me knows for my sports moment, I'm going to pick the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals World Series.
Whoa.
That's my team. And I don't know if you guys remember that, but they were down to
a little bit.
They were down to their last strike against the Texas Rangers, and Dave Freese hits like a base-clearing triple to tie it up. And it was one strike away from the Texas Rangers winning the World Series. Then the Texas Rangers tied it up again in extras. Took the lead again in extras. And a friend of mine, John Jay, who I'm going to come back to, was the tying run. And then Dave Freese again walks it off. And I think up until that point, I've always been a baseball fan, but I think I hit a new level of fanaticism over having a World Series win. And the reason I mentioned John Jay is because he skates. Damn, and we linked up he's a coach for the Cardinals now, but he was a player then. And he skates and he rips. And we went skating a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Crazy.
And we got lined. My friend Brian Dale and I and him met up, and he filmed a line with us. And this was before a game. And
he's a coach now, so it's
he's a coach. Yeah. I was like, am I allowed to post this? I don't know, but but anyway, he's sick, and so But I wouldn't pick that as my favorite skate moment. But my favorite skate moment, I was thinking about this, might be, have you ever heard of Rockbridge curbs in Oakland? It's just these little curbs. And I went with my kid, Arthur, and my wife, and we skated. And Arthur got up. I like stood him up and like pushed him. And then Katie, my wife doesn't skate, but she's just like, fuck it, and skated. And I don't know, it was cool. Skate with your family, skate with your kid and your wife. And it was at the Oakland Rockridge curbs.
Damn.
So I'm
some
gonna pick
epic
that.
moments.
I'm gonna pick that as my moment.
Those are two good ones.
Love it. Okay. So back to you on the skateboard for a sec. Take us back to the beginning. Where'd you grow up and how'd you get into skating?
Well, I was unfortunately, well, now maybe it was, in hindsight, it was good, but I moved around a ton. But I remember I lived in Louisville, Kentucky, and Back to the Future came out. My parents took me to Back to the Future in the theater. And the next day I tried to pull behind, it wasn't my board, it might have been my older brother's or something, like a Fairflex or a Nash, but like from Toys R Us. And I held onto the back of a nail truck, like, because I saw it in the movie, like sketching or whatever. And then and I didn't think about what if it stops, and it just stopped. Like the guy slammed on the brakes, and I like slammed into the fucking back of the mail truck. But that was from seeing Back to the Future, Louisville, Kentucky, 1980 something. And then I think I kept up with skating here and there ever since. But it was a long time before I even knew what like ollies were. Because then I moved, and these kids were like, "Oh, you skate?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, can you ollie?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." So then I had to like learn to ollie and learn to skate.
And where was that you moved to and started skating?
Secondly, I lived in Hong Kong.
Holy.
Yeah, so
that's a crazy move.
I know. I was in Kentucky, State College, Pennsylvania, then Cincinnati, Ohio, then Hong Kong, and then Columbus, Ohio.
What had your family moving around so much?
My dad's
military?
Job. No, but just work shit.
Crazy.
And
that's crazy.
So we moved around, which is funny. I was like, I'm never gonna do that to my kid. And he's only 5, and he already lived in Los Angeles, then Oakland, now Philadelphia. And I'm like, I'm just passing it on.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But
Hong
yeah,
Kong
I got into skating.
Scene.
I got into skating in Hong Kong and in then Columbus, Ohio, was where I went to high school.
Really cool. What would you consider your first big break in the skate industry?
I met Bryce Knights. I don't know if this is a big break, but because it took a bit. But I met Bryce Knights at Dodge Skate Park in Columbus. He came on like a Think tour, and he was with like Matt Hales and Peter Bisi and Greg Carroll and Phil Shao. And I think I just started showing him my pictures. Like I made little zines and stuff, and I showed him my pictures. And he was like, "Yeah, send him to Thrasher. Send him to Thrasher." And I think I got a couple random pictures in. Like I would torture on and call. And I just got some weird, like shitty pictures here and there back in the like early 90s, like probably 92, 93. So I think meeting Bryce Knights and mailing him pictures. He was the photo editor at Thrasher. And I would just mail him shit.
Who were the photos of back then? Like who were you shooting?
One was Scott Bazell.
Oh, epic.
And that was like a frontside blunt slide, but I put some dumb last name for him. And one was this band called Guided by Voices, which I still am enjoyer of. I went and interviewed them, and it was like a little quarter page in Thrasher. Like I was in high school. It was a little, like half a page Guided by Voices interview. And I still love the photo. Some of them were random. Like one was like, they did this article called like a girls skaters article, and it was just pictures of girls like holding boards, and one of them was for that. I don't know, the randomest fucking photos. Maybe like 3 pictures made it in.
That's awesome.
Damn, that's epic. So you worked at Thrasher later on though, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you get to going from having 3 photos randomly run to working there? And how was your time at Thrasher?
Well, I jumped around a bit. Like I really wanted to be a skate photographer, and I would send them to whoever. And I moved to New York City. I can't remember what happened, but Michael Burnett called me and was just like, "Do you want to be our photographer, our East Coast photographer?" And of course, I did.
Yeah.
And I don't think it paid very much or anything, but it was still like really cool opportunity. And I think I was like kind of shitty at it, but I did my best. And yeah, that was through Michael Burnett hired me.
Any run-ins with the legend Phelps? What's your time at Thrasher?
Oh yeah, tons.
What was he like in the office? Have you ever spent any time in the office with him?
I don't know, man. I was always a little fucking scared of him.
Yeah.
I had the classic thing where the first time he called me, I thought it was like a prank call. So it was just like, yeah, it's Jake Phelps. And I remember his voice. Everyone, when they do the Phelps impression, they do like a deep voice. Like, it's fucking Phelps. But it was kind of like, he has kind of a high voice, actually. So I was like, this is not fucking Jake Phelps. And I was just listening to someone like I thought was pranking me. And then being kind of dismissive. And then figuring it out, like, you know, the classic, like figuring it out a couple minutes in, like, oh shit, this is actually Jake Phelps. And I've been kind of like, what was he like? I don't know. You know, it got to a point. I remember having this thing where I think I would like avoid him if I could. Like, I was scared of him because he was like my boss. And I wasn't, I don't know if it's lazy, but I just kind of wanted to shoot with the people I wanted to shoot with. And I didn't. And he'd call me and be like, you know, a lot of our photographers go on tours with all kinds of teams. Like, you just go on tours with Baker. And you know, like you. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? And he's like, I don't know, Bakersfield with the consolidated team. I was like, fuck. And he would just. But then it was weird. Once I stopped working there, he would call me and his powers didn't like work anymore. I wasn't scared of him anymore. And so then it was weird. I like stopped working there and I started working at Vice. And he would call me all the time just to bullshit. Like just, I think he wanted me to like put his band in Vice or something. I don't know. He would just call me to like chat.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome.
And he's the guy though that like everything he says is quotable. Like, you trade your Jake Phelps stories with like other people to tell you what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever I don't know. It's hard to like romanticize because there's a lot like that. I don't know how to explain it. Like there's things that were like not sucked about him, but like things that were like scary where you just like, this guy's can be scary or intense. Or I remember the last time I hung out with him, which thankfully me and Justin Reagan were walking in a mall and I saw him. It was early in the morning. He looked like homeless. We were in Malmo, Sweden. And I wanted to avoid him. I wanted to like go like this and and he was like, Jake. I was like, oh, now we're fucking in for it. And then we had like a breakfast with Jake, or not breakfast, like coffee and talking all this bullshit. And there's stuff he said in that conversation that me and my friends like still quote. And yeah, that might've been one of the last times I ever hung out with him. So it was, yeah, whatever. I'm thankful we got to talk and show.
That's awesome. Yeah. Glad you didn't just keep it moving.
Sometimes.
Before it was the famous doc style video format, Epically Later was a blog.
Mm-hmm.
And Spanky told us that it used to get some pretty high amount of views, man. What was it like as the blog and what inspired it?
Well, yeah, it did get a lot of views. And I didn't, well, now actually I think in my head it was an insane amount of views, but it compared to like, oh, I had my ringer. Sorry. Compared to like something on Instagram, you know, like some influencer on Instagram, it's like nothing. But to me, it just looked insane. I remember even when I first put it up, getting like 1,500 views and being like, oh my God, like 1,500 people saw this? That's fucking insane. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to know, but I started it because there were some other blogs in New York City that I would or there was one in particular, this girl I knew, Amy Kellner, she did a blog. It was the same thing. She would just go out and party, take pictures, tell a little story, like the sequence of the night. And then that was it. Just like, oh, I went to the hole or went to Max Fish and here's so-and-so. And every day I would check her site to see if she made a new page. If she made a new page, I was excited. So I just thought, I want to do that too. So the name was just like kind of like an inside joke from like a little skate trip I was on, where we just, when you go on a skate trip, you just have your jokes of the trip. We just kept saying epic and later, like as like our little tour joke. So when I was doing the like coming up with the URL, it was the only one that like cleared, I guess. And then yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked it's still up. I keep it up. I pay the bill on it, so it like stays up. But I don't update it. And I've never I haven't checked the views in 20 years. So, but I just remember at one point it was like in the millions or something. I was just like, dude, this is fucking crazy. And I think it was just because it mixed like skateboarding, and now there's a lot of stuff about skaters, like, well, their Instagrams or whatever. But I think at the time, maybe like telling a story about like a Baker tour or something was probably, there wasn't much like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And same with like some of the New York stuff. It was kind of like, I think people just liked it if they were like how I liked other people's blogs.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. Before Instagram, that was like, you're giving a look behind the curtain that, you're lucky if Baker has like a section in a 411, like going through the America Mansion or whatever, and you get to see your favorite guys a little slice behind the curtain. So like the blog was like the last good transition before Instagram, and then it was like almost, now it's overkill how far into people's lives we can be. But it can be. It's not always. Some people are tasteful, but you know what I mean.
I guess a shameless plug is I have a new book about my blog.
Oh hell yeah!
If you guys want to, well, I'm not gonna, whatever.
Yeah, go on. Tell them all about it.
No, I'm saying if the viewers want to buy my book, we made a book about the blog book.
Awesome. Oh, wicked! What's it called?
Epically Latered.
Perfect. So you've had a laundry list of legends on, and that's probably what contributed to so many views back then. Everyone wants to know what's up. But looking back, who are some of your favorite episodes you've done?
Well, I think my favorite's always going to be Cardiel. And that was like a big one for us. I'm going to say, and I haven't rewatched them. Like I haven't watched them since they were new. So they could be bad. But I remember I always felt really good about like Alyssa Steamers and Eric Dressen and Ali Bulalas.
Oh.
And I think I liked all those in particular because I felt like maybe they were underrated or something, or I felt like maybe I was doing a good service to skating to kind of like remind everyone how sick Eric Dressen is. Mm-hmm. Or maybe have Ali Bulala like tell his side of his like some of his life experience. And same with Alyssa, like not that she would be underrated, but it just felt good to like help tell those stories. Mm-hmm. And so I always like think about those like pretty fondly. And then in the new batch is the new ones we've done. I really like Heath Kirchard's and I really like Ben Cato's. Nice. But I don't know.
You like them all?
No, like them all. Or I don't know.
I like them all, man. I love Gino's. Gino's was like a really good.
Sometimes I think of Gino's was like 2 hours long or something.
I loved it. Who was the heart? Sometimes people are a little bit reluctant to want to do interviews, and you ask them, and then they say no, and you wait 3 years, and you ask them, and then they're down for it. Who was like the hardest or like the longest process to get to come on the show?
I'm not sure. I haven't like pleaded with too many people. Like usually if they just say no, I accept it. Mm-hmm. So I don't usually come back like begging. Maybe Anthony Van England. Like he seemed the most reluctant to do it. And he was happy with how it came out, but he was the most like like aloof about it, like almost like, what's the minimum amount of time you guys need? Like, you know what I mean? Like some people are like, I'm gonna make mine so good. We're gonna do this and this and this and this, and they think of all these ideas. He was just like, what do you need? Like an hour? And then you're like, how about we come to your house, or how about we film you riding your motorcycle? And he was off, like nothing, like no family, no motorcycle, no hobbies, just the interview. And then we went and filmed him like trying to trick or whatever, and that was it.
That was one of the more recent ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
That came out with his shoe at the time, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of stuff come out in that little section of time.
Yeah, Van's like, I mean,
They pushed the media machine was in full motion.
yeah, and I mean, I'm grateful for that, because I don't think he would have done it unless like somebody twisted his arm at Vans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For sure.
Because I remember him.
same with
I remember
us.
him. I remember like asking him when we were coming up with like who we should do. He was in the like original batch of like, oh, let's reach out to all these people. And I think he just like left me on red, you know? And then I think Vans or somebody heard that, you know, we had asked him. And then Vans texted me back like, hey, so you guys are going to do that episode? And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't think the guys said yes. So then I had to call him, because then I felt like, did I just tell him to sponsor? Like, oh, I don't want to do it, but fuck, this asshole told Vans that. You know, you can like build your own story of like the worst thing. You know, so I call him like, hey man, I didn't mean to tell like. And he's like, no, it wasn't like that. Like, I'm down. I was like, okay. But in my head, I built up this story that like Vans just like forced him to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like we felt the same way. Not that he was forced, but I don't know if he would have done the show with us. But it was like shoe time, so we were like, okay, this is our opportunity. Because I mean, I'm a fan too, but he's like Dono's like favorite skater since we were kids, so that was a special one for us too.
He's intimidating.
Yeah, I've known him for freaking ever. So I still get like scared around him, like I'm not so much anymore. Maybe after we did the episode, I finally got over my like fear of him. But
I felt the same sort of intimidation at the beginning, just because we never met him, but like just his presence in the industry is just like, it's intense. And then by the end of it, I'm like, okay, he's actually so nice.
He's
and
the best.
It went away like halfway through, but yeah, that was awesome.
His mom, when the episode came out, his mom was writing me about how much she liked it. And I was like, okay.
Oh, wicked.
That's so nice.
Hell
There you
yeah.
go. Has there ever been an episode that you've started? I mean, we have a couple of them that like we've either started or finished and then never came out. Do you unfortunately have any of those in the closet?
There's a couple, yeah. One was Grayson Fletcher. We started doing a Grayson Fletcher one and like interviewed him and everything. And then his family, his grandma or something, like called us and said no episode. And we swapped it. They didn't like our questions and stuff. I don't know. They thought we were, I don't know what they thought, but they didn't like it. And we switched it to Andrew Reynolds. So if you watch Andrew Reynolds, his is like, I've already done multiples on Reynolds, but Andrew's is filmed in one day. Like it's for the TV. Sorry, we did a series for like Vice TV, so they had a little bit bigger budget and stuff. And his was like filmed at the very end, just as like a fill-in, and that's why it's like kind of brief.
Okay,
well, not brief, but like why it's just one day. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but it was kind of thrown together a little bit.
That would have been
Anyone
a cool
else?
one. Grayson Fletcher. That's Donald's guy too.
Yeah, I think someone should make it. It just didn't work out. I don't know. There's a whole like. I'm sorry, I burped.
Usually, how many days does it take to make one? Obviously, like everyone's gonna be different, but like people are requesting one day. But like, is it usually over the course of like a week or something?
Okay, so back in the day, my formula was one day with the person. Then I go interview all the other people. And then if I get any like good deets or things that I like forgot, I come back and do like a final day.
Okay.
So like
the
at
person?
Templeton or someone, you know, you interview them, ask And usually I do the on camera first. Sorry, the sit down interview first. So we go like, and I ask everything I can think of. Then like say with Ed's, I go get Jeff Raleigh and I get like Don Brown and whoever I can go get. And sometimes they tell me good stories and then I come back to Ed. And usually maybe that day it'll be like, say he's taking pictures on the pier and we do kind of like some sort of verite, like some kind of activity to cut to, like for the intro. So yeah, usually it's like maybe 2 days with the person or 3, but the bulk of the work is actually all the other interviews in the thing. So if I interview like 8 people or 9 people for the episode, each one of those, sometimes an interview could be its own day. Or sometimes if we're lucky and like they're in LA, we can do like 3 in a day.
Yeah.
But that's like the most work.
That's wicked. A lot of work. It's and then putting the pieces of the puzzle together. It's like, that's got to be crazy. Is that
Now
all you on the back end?
What's that?
Is that
No,
all you on the back end?
Edit.
Okay.
I don't edit. So Vice has editors and we kind of alternate between them. And like we have a finished episode now and I'm waiting to get it to an editor or someone can like have a turn editing it or whatever. So it's just kind of like there's sometimes a backlog.
And are these editors are skaters? Because it's like so hard for like a non-skater to edit skate stuff, right?
I don't know. You know what's weird is all the classic episodes were edited by a woman named Lauren Cinnamon, who's not a skater at all.
Huh.
And she kind of created the whole look of the show. And I think her not being a skater helped in a way because she could kind of, I don't know. There's some things as a skater you might think are important, but as like an editor, you kind of have to make some like tough calls.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it helped to have a little bit of outside perspective on
make it more appealing to a broader audience too, as a non-skater.
Like one example is I remember in the Cardiel episode, we were thinking of the Cardiel big tricks, and it was like ollie the bar at Fort Miley, drop it on the wall at Burnside, grind the gold rail. And she'd be like, you got to pick which trick you want me to, what we're going to do. We can't stop and talk about each trick. Like, you got to like kind of pick. So then we would pick like, okay, we'll do the gold rail.
Yeah.
And, or whatever. And then same with the video parts, you'd be like, you can't stop and talk about everything. You got to like pick. So I don't know. Sometimes, but one time we had a non-skater editing and you could tell they didn't really know who, like just the archival picks. Mm-hmm. A couple times I like tripped out on it. Like, oh, this person doesn't know who to put, over the talking. I don't know, but I don't know. I like to get kind of like a rough assembly cut and then start shaping it, because I was there for all the interviews and then I don't know, have someone who's like a good editor get it sort of close. And usually what we get is like a cut that's like 10 minutes too long or 15 minutes too long and we like tighten it up.
Who's number 1 on your most wanted list?
I'm trying to think because I've gotten a lot of them.
Yeah, I bet there's not many people.
I'm like, I could say Ave, but then I was like, I got them. But didn't get, dude, I had one that I thought I was going to be able to get, which was Rob Dyrdek. I was like, emailed Rob Dyrdek and was like, do you want to do one? Because we had talked about it in person.
That would be insane.
He seemed like he wanted to do it. He was like telling me stories. And so I emailed him for Ave's episode. And I was like, hey, can I interview you for Anthony Van Engelen's episode? They skated for Alien together and DC together and all these companies. And he basically said, no, he's too busy. And I had also said, or do you want to also do a whole episode about you? But I got to know. And I'm still like, man, I hope he changed. Because no one ever says no anymore. They kind of say like they're too busy at the moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They leave the window open a little bit. I want to like try again in a couple of years. Because I've thought about it for years of like, not just because of his MTV fame, but as like a skater from Ohio, and I love Alien Workshop, and I love kind of like, I don't know, that like early Rob Dyrdek Alien Workshop stuff that I just thought
For
that'd
sure.
be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would love to see that one.
Dude,
Hopefully
we
he
saw him at a
changes his
demo
mind.
as kids for Seek Skateboards, and he absolutely killed the demo. It was like the perfect Dyrdek setup. It's like in a cross rail on a pyramid,
Yeah.
like something he's probably had in every one of his parks, and just went off. Obviously, like fans of shows love to tell interviewers who they think you should have on the show next. Who is like someone that fans always tell you to get,
I don't know.
and then I'll make my suggestion for who.
I don't know, like Tom Penny comes up.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't remember. Like people just tell me people, or like I get DMs about people.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like a skater I've never heard of, and I'm like, never.
Yeah, those are the best ones.
And then I like copy it and paste it and be like, am I supposed to know who this person is?
Yeah.
And there's ones that, yeah, Tom Penny or Lenny Kirk or I don't know who people suggested. I was with somebody and they kept suggesting people to me. And then sometimes in your head you have a reason why it wouldn't be a good episode, but you don't want to say it out loud. You're like, I mean, you don't want to, because you have your own like kind of criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that happens.
Well, you don't want to do one with someone who might be in like a sad current situation. So those ones are always like, you want a happy ending or like the person to be in a good place.
Yeah. And I want people to have some sort of relevancy. So when we are talking about like present day or what their like job is or what they're up to, it's like, I don't know, like just some kind of outro where it's like, yeah, would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to think like, dude, this is one. I talked to Paulo Diaz about doing an episode. And I fucking love Paulo Diaz's skating. And, you know, he's kind of almost like a deity, like just someone that's so amazing to me. But he struggled in his life, you know? And I remember getting to the end of the conversation feeling like, I don't think like, not that it would be a bad episode, but I just didn't think like it would be a good idea. Especially because some of the people almost are better as myths, like Lenny Kirk or Tom Petty or Jake Phelps. You know, like the like, you know, I remember I was with Tom Petty and he even like kind of acknowledged that. He was like, oh, don't, he's like, someone put like video of me talking. He's like, I just don't want you to make fun of me. Like, I want you to, and it was almost acknowledging that like, you need to be like selective with, how, whatever. Now I feel like I'm like,
No, it makes sense.
I'm like,
sometimes we get to the end of interviews and we're like, should this one come out? Like, do we want them to be seen in this light? You know?
yeah, not that, yeah, it's like, I hate to say with Paulo Diaz, it was like a struggle with like substances and stuff, like drugs and stuff. I don't know, man. There's just people sometimes that I'm like, the mythology around this person is so interesting and exciting that you don't want to like humanize the myth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
These are like our like Bob Dylans or something.
Yeah. It was like Aaron Rodgers in his good era with the Packers, and now we're really seeing who Aaron Rodgers is. The truth is coming out. I don't know if you like football, but
wait, a football fan? No. Okay, yeah. Forget Aaron Rodgers. I can't believe you even mentioned his name.
I watch college football.
Oh, nice.
Cam Ward, baby, let's go. So you've had Heath Kirchart actually do some work behind the scenes. How did that come about, man? That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he edited Ben's episode. Well, with our friend Kai, who also is like the cinematography for the show. Yeah. Look, so there's that stuff that keeps happening with Vice is like they keep having like financial problems or something, or like our editor got laid off and something, and we were really worried that Ben's episode would like never come out. And like I don't know, there was like news articles like Vice bankrupt and all this stuff, so we were like, oh shit, our work is fucked.
Yeah.
And I was eating dinner, and he texted me. He's like, "I'm sending you a file. Like, what? Open the file, and then call me." And it was such a weird text, like espionage. And I was like, okay, like downloaded a file, and it was the first 5 minutes of Ben's episode. And I was like, who made this? That's so weird. Like, we have like a little rough of the intro. And I called Heath, and he said he downloaded the editing program. And he's just like, I love Ben. I want to make this. I want this to be like, I don't want to give it to these editors. Like, I'm just going to do it myself. He just started it. And he was calling me to make sure that was okay with me. Like, as if I was like, yeah, like, if you, I mean, I don't want to put out something that sucks or is like badly edited, but he's so like serious about things that, I mean, of course he wasn't going to, like, he started editing it, took it to his friends that are editors, like showed it to people. Like, he showed it to like John Miner, and he showed it to our friend Tom, Tom Carter, who is an editor, and would like fine tune it. And I think I'd even have things that I would want to change. I think there was something where there's only one thing where I had to like pull rank and be like, put that in. Like, I was like, if you weren't the editor, if it was one of these guys at Vice, I would tell them just fucking do it. So it was the scene with the moldy hot sauce where, and I was like, you have to have that in. And Heath wanted to take it out for some reason, but I felt like you needed examples of Ben being straight. All these people are talking about how unusual he is. And I was like, well, there's an example. So we put it back in. But I think, Heath edit, when you edit, you go into a cave for 6 months and edit or whatever. Because it was not only had to edit the piece, he had to like learn how to edit.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And then our friend Kai like kind of closed it out himself. Like, or whatever. Like, finished the edit.
That's epic, man. Took matters into his own hands.
Yeah, and they're talking about editing another one. They want to do like maybe one a year, like, but it has to be someone. So with Ben, I think we really hit it off with Ben, and Heath and Ben are like really similar in a lot of ways, and whatever, they just clicked. And I think Heath just wanted to do it himself because Kai, because we just like Ben so much.
The toilet door opens. Finally, it's your turn. It feels like a bomb is about to explode in your boxers, and you can't hold it in much longer. You slam the door shut faster than Usain Bolt runs. Sit down on the toilet, and on a signal that was coming, whether you wanted it or not, you release hell, and hell it is. 3 days of partying in Copenhagen have taken their toll. It feels like a freight train is leaving your body. The first second of pure relief is instantly replaced by horror. You didn't pull your pants down. They are now filled with 3 days worth of Danish hot dogs and Tuborg beer. If someone Googled the word disgusted, a picture of you in this moment would be top result. And as if things couldn't get any worse, it's not stopping. You do what you can to get your pants off, but in doing so, you're not just covering yourself in shit, you're now spray painting the entire bathroom. You scream, please stop, for fuck's sakes, but your stomach is in full release mode, and it has no plans of quitting anytime soon. This is not how you imagined your last night in the Danish capital. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door. For obvious reasons, you have no intention whatsoever of opening it, but the person on the other side doesn't care. The knocking gets louder, harder, until the door finally bursts open. Before you know it, someone storms in, rips down his pants, and shits directly on you. So now, you're covered in both his and your own shit. Why, oh why, is this happening to you? And what feels like hours, but is really just a few seconds, the man finishes, turns around to find some toilet paper, but instead, he finds you covered in shit. He realizes he had emptied himself on you. What he doesn't know is that you were already a mess. So now he thinks this is all his fault. The man, none other than Pontus Alv, the founder and owner of Polar Skate Co. Being a generous Swede with a big heart and an even bigger wallet, he strips off his clothes, hands them to you, and escorts you out to a waiting limousine. Wearing nothing but boxers, he's taking the attention from you. A true hero. He takes you to the nicest hotel in town, opens up the spa just for you, and lets you clean yourself like never before. Then, as if that weren't enough, he offers you a spot on the team, a generous salary, and makes sure everyone calls you the governor for the rest of your life. In less than an hour, you've gone from being covered in shit to being a proud member of the Polar Skate team. Who made sure Pontus Alv took a shit on you? You know who did. CHPO brand, the worldwide leader in sunglasses and watches. Always doing it for the people. You had Greco on. We've tried for maybe a couple times. He says he's done doing interviews, but like, what an epic person to have on the show. Any chance you have Greco Baker 3 era story you could share with us?
I don't know. We used to be like way tighter friends, and Baker. I remember he would go into his house and having him talk to him. He was talking to himself he was hanging up his posters. He was like, David Bowie goes here. Johnny Thunders goes here. And I was like, if I wasn't here, would you be talking? Because he wasn't talking to me. He's like, I'm keeping it down for you. I'm keeping it down. And then I remember him talking about video part songs, and he was trying to figure out his video part song for maybe Baker 3. And I don't want to give away all his songs in case he wants to use them again, but at one point he's like, I'm going to skate to Van Morrison Gloria. And I was like, you already skated to that. And he's like, yeah, it was perfect. And I'm skating to it again.
Wow. That's actually perfect.
I was like,
you nailed it.
You should skate to your own song again.
Has that ever been done?
I don't know. I was like, fuck yeah, skate to your own.
Imagine how shocking that would be.
P-Rod came the closest, maybe. Like his Yeah Right beat. And then he used a kind of different version of the beat, maybe, in the Primitive video.
That'd be cool. Like having like a theme song.
That would be cool, man.
Yeah. That's legendary. Greco, damn. That's twice he's come up this season. Love it.
I tried to ask him in the new rounds. I was like, "Do you want to do a new one?" Whoa. And because he doesn't like the old one that we did, because he changes so much, and I think he looks back and doesn't like it. And so I was like, "Well, if you want to update, you want to do a new one." Because we're kind of like figuring our shit out, and some of the old ones are janky as fuck, and I would love to redo it. But you know what? A lot of those guys all together decided they weren't doing interviews. Like it was like a thing. Like Reynolds was like, I don't talk anymore. And Greco was like, I don't talk anymore, just skating, which I respect. But I don't know. I don't think it worked out for Reynolds because it's like all the sponsors need him to do that, do interviews.
He just did a bunch of New Balance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Two guys we need to get on, or it might never happen for either, but yeah, always welcome if you hear or see this. So speaking of stories, throwback stories, you're obviously around the Baker crew for a long time, Baker 3 era. Any other fun stories come to mind from the Baker 3 days?
I don't know. We did a tour in like a tour bus. I don't know if I have a tour bus story, but I always remember it because it was like a massive tour bus with like bunks and stuff. And it was just like fucking cool. I don't know.
Was it the Psycho Boost Mobile bus?
Yeah. Robin got Boost Mobile to like sponsor it. And it was such a sick tour because it was like 2 halves, and we did like East Coast half. And then we had like a week or 2 off, and I went with Spanky to Miami just to like bullshit. And then got on the second half of the tour, the West Coast. And I I remember they kicked off Evan Hernandez like halfway through the tour. Like he was on the first half. And then we showed up to the second half, and Andrew's like, Evan's not going to be
off the team or off the tour?
Off the team.
Oh, man.
It was like
Is something he did on the first part of the tour?
Maybe. He bummed somebody out. I don't want to say what it was because it was mean, but he said something mean. I don't think that was why, but I don't know.
Combination of things.
Combination of things, yeah. And I don't know. I just remember Andrew was so good that I sometimes didn't. I got like used to how good he was, and there was one time he ollied up a gap that I was trying to ollie down, and he ollied up it, and then I didn't shoot it because I thought we were just kind of sessioning. And then 2 days later, I was like, I really should have shot a photo of you ollieing up that gap. And the clip came out like, or whatever. It's like a grass gap. He's ollieing up it.
I remember that.
And I'm just like standing there, like I'm not in the footage, but just in my head. And that happened another time. He did like a trick that it wasn't until later I was like, I should have fucking shot that trick. But he was so good, you couldn't tell what was good or not.
What was the ollie up in?
I remember it in like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember exactly where I was thinking on video.
Yeah, I was thinking
it might have been in that.
It's a grass
and then
gap
he does something down a bigger gap, like at the same place. Maybe.
I think it was maybe it was an on video. It was kind of an obscure.
Yeah.
Cool. But he just ollies up a grass gap, and I was there, and I tried to ollie down the gap, couldn't do it. It was just like annoyed or something. Like, God, why I suck, and then didn't shoot it. And yeah, one time we were at City Hall in Philly. He does like, I think it was a fakie ollie, like kind of like fakie ollie switch frontside blunt.
Oh yeah.
And it was like in a line. So I just was sort of like, damn, he's good. And maybe because normally you don't shoot photos like a single trick and not like in a line. But I was like, I should have shot a sequence of that, especially because he was doing it a bunch. But yeah, again, he's so good, you don't know. It's like you lose a grasp on reality of like what's good and what's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or sometimes you would frontside flip something and you'd be like, oh, I already seen him frontside flip things, and I wouldn't shoot it. I don't know. It was so good it didn't seem real.
Mm-hmm. Never enough Andrew Randall's frontside flips, but I remember that fakie front blunt for sure because that was the first time I'd ever seen that trick. So I feel like the sequence would have been worthy for sure. It was like mind melting. I didn't understand it at the time.
Yeah, I was just sitting there like a dipshit. Like 3 days later, I'm like, I should have shot that.
I mean, on a Baker tour, there's so much talent all around. What? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, because on like a session like that, like 5 people are doing things, so you don't know what you're supposed to be shooting, and no one ever comes up to you and is like, Andrew's never like, hey. Like the same with both of those tricks. If he'd been like, hey, Patrick, can I get that in Thrasher? Like, will you fucking set up? I would have. But he's just fucking smoking a cig, sitting there. It's not hard for him. You just like lose track. You don't know what's going on.
What was TK like on that tour, man?
I don't think he was on that tour.
Oh.
But
damn.
I met him on the first Baker tour. The first Baker tour, which actually I think was that Reynolds City Hall line was, maybe. Foggy memory, but I got to go on the first ever Baker tour, and they started in Philly, and I ran into them, and I knew a couple of them, but not really, and realized they didn't. I was like, saw John Miner, he was filming, or Jay Strickland's. I was like, do you guys have a photographer? And they were like, no. Because I think they were like so into filming. They were like, I was like, I work for Thrasher. Can I come on your trip? And at first, maybe, everyone was smoking so much weed. It was so like antisocial. It was almost like I was like bothering them, or I don't know. But then I think they realized that they had too many people on the trip for the van. Like the van only fit a certain amount of people. And I had my own car. And they were like, yeah, come on the trip. But really, I ended up having a car with Terry Kennedy, Evan Hernandez, and Nuts Godoy. Was the car, like I was like the kid car.
Yeah.
and drove them from place to place. So that it was like Thanksgiving dinner. Like we're at like the kids' table, and yeah, Terry was on that trip. I remember it was Terry, and I had never heard of him, I don't think, and Jeremy Rogers. We met with Jeremy Rogers in Boston, and he might have even been like Baker Flow or something. Like he was like showing us around, and it was one of those things where it's like a hilarious crew, but also kind of like a jacked crew. Like kind of, I mean, even everyone was so fucking nut, like insane that, I don't know. It's like a rock and roll band or something, or just
Yeah.
like a circus.
Can't even imagine
Yeah,
that crew in the early days. Was that the beginning of your connection with all those guys? Like getting on that trip?
yeah. So on the trip, like I had known people, like maybe like I had done some shit. I don't know. But the article came out, and there was all these portraits and stuff, and I was kind of like really telling like what the tour was like as best I could. Like this happened, and I think I called Reynolds. I was like, oh, he's great, but when he drinks. Jay Strickland had called him Buzzkill Chick Salt Cop Magnet, and I wrote that in the article, right? Like, because I don't know, Andrew got drunk, and I remember in Chicago, and he was like crying and like yelling about shit. Like, I can't remember what he was yelling. We were in the hotel lobby, and he was yelling like something like if the crew's like that, I'm not down for the crew. And he was just yelling in some like Marriott lobby where it was kind of fucking crazy. And I think I wrote about it. So then I saw Reynolds at Tampa Pro, and I was like, this dude's gonna fucking kill me, man. Because I just was saying all this shit. And I was like, hey, Andrew, like getting ready to have him be like bummed at me. Because some people don't like it when you air out their shit. Like, dude's an alcoholic. I don't know. And he's like, that fucking article was so good. Like, I fucking loved it. Because I think Andrew has always been a fan of just like telling it how it is or showing things how they are.
Mm-hmm.
And he liked it. And so then I got to go on almost like every Baker trip after that. And America, because he set me up with America. Like introduced me to Justin Reagan, and I got to go on a bunch of America trips and stuff through Andrew.
Damn.
And so that's
awesome.
kind of.
You thought it was going one way and it went the other.
Yeah.
I know it's funny because normally, even now with Andrew, like with other people, like, I shouldn't have said that about that person. Like already in this interview, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say. Andrew, I'm like, he doesn't care. Like I don't think I could like offend Andrew. You know what I mean?
Can you tell us about the time Tino Razzo was working the door at Max Fish and denied a pretty famous actress?
Oh yeah, it was Natalie Portman. I remember we were sitting there. When I was drinking, Tino was the doorman at Max Fish, and his brother Mark was bartender. And I like drinking a lot, so I would go hang out with Tino. And Tino's job was sitting by this like bush. There was like a bush by the door, and he'd sit there and he was the ID checker. And then every like 20 or so minutes, he'd get like a shot of Jaeger and a Budweiser for me or for us both. And he would check IDs. But I just remember, one time, I didn't see it either. Me and him were just sitting there talking, and then everyone else was like, you just didn't let Natalie Portman in. Because maybe this was like Phantom Menace era Natalie, maybe not that young, but it was like she wasn't 21.
Oh, shit.
But I would go, Tino was there like 5 nights a week or something, and I lived with him. We lived in an apartment with like no electricity on like 65th Street.
What? How does that even exist?
I know, I ran an extension
What do
cord
you
into
do?
the hallway.
Oh, okay. So you had some sort like.
Yeah, but the fridge was nasty. If you open the fridge, it was like rotten food.
Oh.
There's like cigarette burns on everything. And it was Tino's like studio apartment when he was like the ID checker. And then eventually he was a bartender a few nights a week. And whatever. He's come a long way since then now.
Yeah. He's doing great now.
I can't turn down my girl Natalie Portman though. Damn.
Speaking of famous actresses, Spanky told us she used to date one in New York.
Yeah.
He just wants you to name drop.
Yeah, why would Spanky air me out like that? I thought Spanky be the most. Let me think. Let me think about this. But yeah, Spanky's right.
I'll leave it at that.
Who coined the term storm flip, and what is that?
Oh, the storm flip was in the Osiris storm. What was the trick? Jerry Sue in a line does like a backside nollie flip, late flip.
Yeah.
Backside nollie flip. Is that what it was? Backside nollie flip.
I
That's
think
how
so.
Yeah, he
did.
does
And
that.
he did it like Muska through the legs, and then.
But he kick flip it with his front foot.
Yeah.
Well, his back, whatever.
Once
So he does
turned
that.
back foot,
He does. Yeah, he does that in a line. And it was funny because I'd seen him do it. And then we were on the America trip when he got on America, and Spanky and Braden and stuff were like, do the storm flip, do the trick flip from the storm. And it was funny because I think maybe Jerry was like embarrassed because I knew he could do it for a try, but he was like pretending like he couldn't. I remember him like bailing a couple, and I was like, dude, I know you can do this fucking every time. And yeah, he did the storm flip, and everyone went. It might have been in the Wild Ride Epically Layered episodes we did. I think we might have like did it. I haven't rewatched those in 20 years, but I'm sure. I think Jerry could do one right now. Like, I don't think it's hard for him.
Well, I just saw that they just dropped a trailer, right? For they're doing a full length sci-fi video. So maybe we could hopefully get him, maybe crowdfund him getting one in his new part.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I always think the thing with Heath and Heath Kirchard and Jerry both have the same problem. Is like they're so good and they expect so much of themselves that like, and they take skating so seriously that they won't just do easy shit just to like crowd please. And it's almost bummed me out where I'm like when Heath retired, I was like, why don't you just film some fucking easy shit? Like just do a like. Because they're trying to outdo themselves. So Jerry would battle a trick for like 6 months, or Keith would battle a trick for 6 months. I think they're kind of similar skaters. And as a skate fan, like it's almost a cliche where people are like, dude, we just want to see you skate.
Mm-hmm.
Like people just want to see you skate. You don't have to like outdo your part, especially as you get older. You don't have to like you can kind of gracefully chill the fuck out. And as from a fan perspective, like, okay, Jerry, do like a storm flip, do like a ledge line, or Heath. Remember like Heath's like ledge line in the American video? Like it starts off with like maybe whatever, picnic table line. Why don't you just do that shit? But I don't think they can turn off the like I don't know, like the athlete, like not competitive, but competitive with themselves, like that thing that makes them fucking two of the best skaters to ever live. They can't like turn it off and be like, oh, I'm just gonna film some bullshit or whatever.
Yeah.
But as a fan, I'm like, I would love just footage of you guys like sessioning and doing Smith grinds or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he pops up though here and there in like montages, which is always nice. But I feel like that would have been harder for him just because of the lane he chose as like literally being one of the gnarliest to ever skate. So it's like he doesn't want to see himself not be one of those guys. So I get that. Jerry, at least, even though he can also be one of the gnarliest guys in certain clips, he's more of a like, well, not, I don't want to say he's not well-rounded, but you know what I mean? Like Jerry skates manis, he skates ledges, rails, gaps, everything, where Heath is like mostly known for like gnarly rails and stuff. So
yeah, I think I've seen them both trying stuff. Like Jerry, I remember one time I had something at Jerry's, like his camera, and I had to return it, and he was skating at like a spot, and I don't remember who he was filming with, like Daniel Wheatley or some shit, or Minor. But I was hiding because I didn't want to interrupt the session. But he was like fucking screaming and throwing his board. And I'm just like, I hope he doesn't see me. Like, well, I think it was a schoolyard where we could like spot. We were like spying, because I had to give him back the camera. But I had never seen anything like it. It was like, I don't know, just an intensity, especially as him was like, he's fairly fucking chill. It's like you go get breakfast with with Jerry, he's fucking chill as fuck. But watching him try a trick, it was like, I mean, you've seen like rage footage, but it's like Ave. And Heath's like, oh, Heath did that to me. I was shooting a sequence or a photo of Greco. We were shooting a photo and Greco's talking to himself like, people fucking spying on me, fucking people spying on me. And I was like, what is he talking about? And I looked between the dumpsters and Heath was spying on us.
What the heck?
Because he wanted to try a trick on the same gap and maybe was worried he was going to do this. Like, I think Greco was trying to switch flip. And maybe Heath was maybe he wanted to switch flip. I don't know. But he found out maybe from Dan Rogers, because they're both friends with Dan Rogers. I think Dan Rogers told him. So then Heath showed up and was spying. And awesome. And Greco like caught him.
That's amazing.
Oh man. Who is Sloppy Sam? And what's the story there?
When did he go? Well, Sam, his name's Sam Batterson, and he was a friend of mine who it was called Sloppy Sam. He skated really sketchy and was a bowl pool skater, vert skater, or whatever from Rhode Island. And at one point, he lived in my laundry room, and I really looked up to him in a lot of ways. And it's funny when you're young and you look up to somebody and you think they're so fucking old. And he was probably like 24. And one thing that I always think about with some friends of mine from back then, like way back then, is how if it was like skating was like how it was now, and there was a lot more brands and a lot more opportunity for like different styles of skating, that he would be more of like a pro skater that we all know about. Mm-hmm. But, back then there was like less coverage or less ways for people to get noticed, or skaters only like specific things, like only specific things were popular. So I always think of him and a few people from back then as like, man, if skating was like how it was now, this dude would be like, I don't know, sponsored by somebody or pro for somebody or whatever. But instead he's just sort of a legend from, I don't know, kind of like had to be there, but a legend. But he helped me learn how to roll in on vert, because we knew that if we were going to go to Jake Phelps's house, Jake Phelps's ramp, you have to roll in.
Oh shit.
So we went to this ramp that was 9.5 feet. The one where Cardiel goes through the rafters, and it was 9.5. And he was like pretending he was Jake, like, your friend's got to roll in. And like, it's just, we were like mocking it up. And I remember learning how to roll in.
The rehearsal.
And, and then we never went to Jake's. It never happened. I never rolled in on like a proper vert ramp, but in my brain that was 9.5, I think. So I've rolled in on 9.5, but no higher.
Fuck, that's good enough.
That's epic. Speaking of then versus now, what do you think about? I mean, because you came up in like the era that we worshipped when we were kids, like all that early Baker stuff. Just in general, what are your thoughts on kind of that era versus where skating's at today?
I don't know. That era was pretty sick. The Baker, would like flip. I don't know, lift high and shit. Like I love that stuff. I got nothing against it. But sometimes the earlier eras that people really like are nostalgic for, like midnight, like 90s. Sometimes I'm like, oh, there were a lot of things that weren't like, I like that now there's more diversity and different kinds of skaters and more women skaters. And I don't know, you can kind of dress however the fuck you want. You can dress differently every day if you want. And you can listen to different music, or I feel like it's more accepting now, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like more confident in a way. But yeah, I'm always gonna look at the time where whatever, like early 2000s maybe is like pinnacle skate years myself.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like we're same boat. But I do agree with what you're saying. Like the more like just more acceptance across the board is definitely something we're not nostalgic for that part of it. But yeah.
I just remember there was an era where the coolest skaters were really limiting themselves with like only doing like ledge lines at Pier 7 or something, and where you could tell these people were talented but weren't confident enough to like get weird with their skating and in the music or just whatever. And I just think that is cool. You know, and I like even now how skaters push themselves harder. I think there was a point where it would have been lame to like do Pilates and like eat healthy and fucking try a trick. Like treat skateboarding like sports. And so sometimes I like skaters that are a little bit, I don't know, like dangerous or something. I like that, but it's cool to see people like push skateboarding. I don't know, when you watch like Skater of the Year push at the end of the year and things are just like unbelievable.
Yeah.
I do kind of like, oh, we're treating this like Olympic gymnastics, or we're treating this like fucking basketball. Like people aren't fucking around. And I kind of like that because I don't know. Sometimes people like limited themselves back in the day with like smoking cigs and just drinking and not taking it seriously or being too cool to like show some hustle, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't cool to try hard.
Yeah.
And now you got Nija going as hard as humanly possible, man.
I remember even like I talked to Tom Shar and he was telling me like how his goal was like going for the Olympics. And I remember just like because he owned it, he wasn't like trying to pretend he was something he wasn't. He's just like, no, I'm like going for the Olympics. And I just like liked that kind of like, oh, this guy's fucking doing it. Like he doesn't care what like some bunch of people think about the Olympics or think about whatever. He's just like, I've set this goal for myself and this is fucking, I don't want to say sports. I mean, it's weird because skating's separate, but I just kind of like that like confidence to be just like, no, I'm going for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then we've seen like Tom's like recent part and stuff. Like he's the shit, but it took a lot of like maybe getting looked at as like, oh, you're a nerd or like you're lame and whatever. And then he just pushed through it and he's the shit or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like it was maybe 3 years ago now on our show, we had Miles Silvis on and he just like straight up said he wanted to win Skater of the Year at some point, and then he literally did it. But I remember being like, whoa, it was kind of weird to just hear him just say it. Like, where just maybe even 5 to 10 years before that, I feel like no one would be wanting to be like willing to be recorded saying that out loud, putting it out there. But times have changed.
Like remember in the 90s, people would land a trick and then look like bummed or something. you couldn't show any.
I kind of like that though.
Yeah. I like it too.
Keep it cool after you land the trick.
Yeah. You know what I like and we all like is authenticity. So if that's like Tom Shar's like authentic way of doing skating, then I fucking back it. And same with like T-Funk, if that's how his thing is. Mm-hmm. Or Ben Cato, we're just like, oh, this is like an authentic person just doing everything their way. Mm-hmm. So we respond positively to it, even if it's all different.
What do you think about people screaming into the stands after they land contest tricks? Banging on their chest. Is that a little too far?
Yeah, I think that's too far. And one thing I like is the skaters that do like soccer tactics, like fall and are like, oh my fucking, I broke my ankle, and they're like flopping kind of. And then they get up, and then land it. Like Bastion does that shit, or
more drama. Yeah.
But then who was it? Jason Dill said maybe it was on my show or somewhere. He said he backs a look. He's like, I back a look, and whatever. If that's like Bastion's thing, I kind of back it. Or we need like pro wrestling heels, like a villain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That shit's not new though. Like I watched like so many old videos still in like old Europe 2000 or 99 or 98. Like there's people just going crazy landing tricks back then. I feel like it's more prevalent now with Street League, but people have been doing that forever too.
I'm like a obsessed baseball fan, and they have the same controversy with like watching your home run, or like your celebration, because the old guys are like, oh, you got to act like you've been there before. You got to like show
respect.
Yeah,
because you saw that MLB ad that was like let the kids play, because it was like so showy. But so I don't want to come off as like the old fucking mad at people like pimping their home runs, but
they police themselves in pro sports. Like Jose Bautista had like the most famous one ever, pimped out the Texas Rangers, and then the next season he got punched in the face by Rougned Odor, changed his career. Same with Tim Anderson on the White Sox. He was like one of the up and coming stars, and then Jose Ramirez knocked him out, and he's never been the same. So maybe there is something.
Those were good games. Those Toronto Blue Jays. You guys like Toronto Blue Jays?
Yeah, well, we're forced to, man. Our team's coming around. We're coming around.
No, I checked. In preparation for this, I checked. They're like a half a game out of the wild card.
Yeah, slow start, man. The guys we picked up in free agency didn't really pan out, but the young guys are coming around.
Get that baseball knowledge, man. I got nothing for you guys.
Well, Jesse Alba didn't force me, but he invited me to join a fantasy baseball league. So now I'm like, it's the only way to like try to understand the whole league and show interest in like these random players. So I'm getting killed in the league.
Oh, I fucking love baseball, and then also the random players. It's funny. So like, I used to know who every flow skater was for like girls skateboards and like that, but now. I see pro model boards and I don't know who the people are sometimes. But then I'm like, in baseball, I'll be like, oh, I know everybody. Yes.
Like the Cardinals' top 10 prospects who are like coming up.
Sometimes, yeah.
We're not trading him. No way.
Yeah.
Was Matt Carpenter on that team that won the World Series?
I don't think he was on in 11, but they went back to the World Series maybe in 13 and he was there. But I love Matt Carpenter.
Great player. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you tell us the story about the time you bought shrooms in Tokyo a week after 9/11?
Was it right after 9/11?
Maybe that wasn't a pertinent detail, but that's what we were told to ask.
Oh God. I bought shroom. There was a stand that said magic mushrooms, and we were with this Japanese skater, and I was like, oh, I'm going to buy these. And never mind. I don't want to air another pro skater out, but someone went fucking crazy in Japan. I was like, this is the shit that made that dude go crazy. So I took the shrooms thinking they were fake and kind of kept eating them. But I think the Japanese skater like made sure that they like switched out the bag and were real. And yeah, I fucking lost my fucking mind. Like, lost my fucking mind. And, like, even to where it might have been like psychosis. Like, I was fucking fully losing it, like freaking the fuck out. And, I mean, it's not that good of a story. It's like telling somebody about your dream. But I remember I was sharing a room with, do you remember that skater Shani Jean Gwenin?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I was sharing a hotel room with him, and he came back wasted. And it sobered me up because I was like, I know he can't tell I'm on shrooms. And he just came back like talking shit about like what happened at the bar or something. And it kind of snapped me out of it. And went to bed, but had a full on whatever. I've had a lot of drug experiences back then, but that was one of
scary.
them.
Yeah. What trip was that you were on with Shani?
It was an Osiris trip.
Ooh.
He skated for Osiris, and but it wasn't even a trip. It was just like they just brought me just in case someone felt like skating, and then you go, and maybe shoot a couple things. But I don't think it was an article or anything. It was like a Japanese trade show. And I shot some pictures. I don't remember a single picture from it. I just remember Shani and Jerry. And that was like it, really. I don't remember who else was on the trip. But I got to go on a lot of Osiris trips.
They had all the bread back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
They sure did, man. What was the most random trip Thrasher had you sent on to shoot?
No, but there was some like a Santa Cruz trip or I remember a Santa Cruz trip and I shared a room with Alex Mole because we were the most alcoholic or something or like drank the most. But I was like, I'm just gonna, you always like pick the person that's on your wavelengths.
Yeah.
So Alex Mole and I shared a room the whole trip. And I don't know, some random one. Like, I don't know, just going random trips or for Thrasher it would be. But yeah, I always tried to stick. It was like I always tried to stick to America and Baker and enjoy. And that's when Jake told me I needed to diversify. So I think I went on the Santa Cruz trip.
What's next for you and the show? And plug that book away in here. We'd love to hear more about it.
Well, we have an episode finished, which is Alexis Sablon.
Oh,
fully
sick.
Filmed and ready to be edited. But there's just bureaucracy involved with getting it fucking edited. But it's like completely shot, and it's been shot for a while, so it's kind of just like rusting. But which is funny, I watched your guys' Random Skater where she was the answer, and I didn't get it.
Oh, sick.
And I'm like, dude, I just filmed a whole fucking episode on this person and I still didn't didn't get the quiz right. But and I'm really excited about it. Because I think she's a little bit like, I don't want to say underrated, because obviously we like treasure her skating, and people like the intelligentsia, I guess, of skating know her impact. But it feels good. I feel like excited to kind of like put it together and package it and put it out. It'll feel like the world would be a better place knowing a little more about Alexis.
For sure. Oh, dude, hopefully that bureaucracy handles itself soon. I'm hyped to see that one.
It just needs to go to like an editor, and then the editor takes like 20 days and works on it. So it just needs to be like assigned. And we have the editor, whatever. It's just like work stuff. And but that one was cool because Heath and I filmed it. I remember we weren't, you never know, because I don't know her, right? And then you not hear things bad, but you just hear like, oh, she's intense, or like, because we kind of talked to people about her, and some of the people were just talking about how like gnarly she is, like trying to trick, and how like intense she can be about like kind of intellectually, like in a good way, but just like a lot of it's like a strong person. I don't know and I'm not trying to like say there's anything bad. It's like just that intense. And I remember at the end of it, the 2 days with her, just like when we were pulling away, Heath's like, that's going to be good. And I remember thinking that they hit it off, because I think they both have that same intensity of like this is the trick I want to try, and I don't fucking care how many times I have to go back. Mm-hmm. Or this is the pro shoe I want. I don't care. Like, I don't care what obstacles she has like a graduate degree, and it's just like an intent, just like a singular intense person that's rad, and is kind of like make the best skaters. You know what I mean? Sure. So anyway, I'm just really excited about it, and I'm hoping we can fucking knock that out like a month from now, maybe.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to that. You want to replug your book? Tell the people, is it out already?
Yeah. We have a compilation book, Epically Later. It's just a blog turned into a book, and it's shitty photos because it's just the photos from the blog, which I removed any phone. There's no phone photos or film photos. It's just the digital Canon Elf, it's called. So the photos can be shitty, but I don't know. It's just sort of like a time capsule of that blog era, for me at least. It feels like an autobiography, I guess, for like a certain amount of, like maybe 4 years.
Nice. Love it.
And then, yeah, we have a bunch of episodes. I don't want to, I'll spoil that the Alexis one's next, but we have 2 more that are mostly filmed. And then 2 more that are in like the idea stages. So as long as like we can keep getting editors and keep, I don't know, because at any point the things can be taken away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or not taken away, whatever. Like Vice could be like, "Hey, we don't really want to do this anymore." Maybe I could like put it out myself or something, but you never know what's going to happen. So I'm grateful for the time we've had, and I'm hoping I can at least get like 4 or 5 more done, or 20 more. I don't know, but. You know what I mean?
Keep it going, man. As long
I'm hoping for 20, to be honest with you.
It's funny though, because you start to not run out of skaters, because there's always skaters, but it's like
on a certain level,
you start to ask around, and you stack up like a bunch of people that don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You like hit people up, and you're like, "Hey, do you want to do an episode?" And
man,
So anyway,
I would love to see Tosh.
Tosh Townend.
Yeah,
he's pretty sick.
he was the best. Still
we
sick,
went
dude.
on a bunch of America trips. I went to Japan with him. Yeah, he was amazing, man.
What was the This Is Skateboarding like world premiere tour like? You guys like?
Oh, it
how
was
many
awesome.
places did you go?
I think it was Brooklyn, Los Angeles, then then New York, then London, Paris, Berlin, Australia, Japan, Hawaii.
Oh, fuck, the whole team?
Yeah.
That's insane.
We went to Hawaii and almost got beat up. Twice almost got beat up. But I was with him and Chris Sen at a bar. And I don't know what happened. Like, what the fuck someone said. But I swear someone was about to like beat up Tosh. And then Chris Sen was like, his dad's Pete Townend. And they were like, no way. And stopped. And that happened when we were checking into the hotel. He gave him the name. And he's like, Tosh Townend. And they were like, oh, like Pete Townend? And he's like, yeah, it's my dad. And same thing. Like, no, like, I've never even fucking heard of this guy, to be honest. And I don't follow surfing, but it was just wild. It was like his dad was like fucking Mickey Mantle or something.
That's awesome.
Like, got him out of a fight, got him like fanned. And then Tosh and I went surfing, or I didn't go surfing. We went to the North Shore and he rented a board, like a shitty, like TNC Town and Country board, like a rental. And I think even like, how surfers all vibe each other and stuff, like maybe it was like people were looking at him crazy, and then he just killed it. Like, we were impressed that he could even like duck dive under the wave. But then, yeah, what the tricks are, like did like a floater and did something else on like a rented board.
Epic.
But he was, and everywhere we went, girls were like lining up to talk to him. Like, you'd see like he'd be at the bar or something, and there'd be like a line behind him.
Dude, he was the best, man. He was hard to get on the show, but when we did, it was an unreal conversation with him.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Any more requests, Dono?
Yeah.
I mean, Rob Welsh.
Oh shit.
That's my like one
Oh,
I
man.
gotta get.
I had a Rob Welsh regret because we did the Bobby Pulio episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have easily gone and interviewed Rob Welsh because I was living in Oakland. I was like, and it didn't fucking occur to me. Like, it was just so weird. It wasn't until editing that I was like, why didn't I interview Rob Welsh? And I was just mad at myself. Like, just kind of thing where it's like, because sometimes in the comments, people are like, why didn't you interview this person? Why didn't you interview this person? I was just like,
exactly.
We were just watching it. Like, I'm just watching the Rough Cut, and I already moved to Philly, and I was like, why didn't I drive over to fucking Supreme where he works and ask him about Bobby. So anyway, that was my bad for
His
just
would
not.
be insane. His would be really good.
Yeah, good
He's
one.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
He has a dope job. He's like it's supreme, like underneath. He's in the like stock room. Like I don't know if they drive some forklift around or whatever the fuck, but I remember thinking if I worked there, that would be the dope job. Like, because you wouldn't have to talk to customers. You just
Yeah. Like warehouse manager.
yeah,
vibes.
like warehouse manager, but like still get to be around skating and chill and like bullshit with people, but you don't actually have to like talk to customers and like fold shirts. You can fucking
Yeah.
I
Smoke
don't know.
cigs
I
and
remember-
foam roll.
I had to interview him once. We did an episode or did something and I had to interview him. And I remember he's like, oh, I'm going to be so busy. I'm going to be so busy. And then we just, because it was like drop day or it was the day before drop day. And then I just remember like kicking it with him for like a couple hours. And it almost was like, don't you have to like work? Like we just chilled. We just like kicked it at the bowl, maybe skated the bowl or whatever. But Rob is fucking, Rob's a fucking awesome skater.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I always like the nose slide he did that he like popped out really high.
Yeah, like on that flat bar out to the street or whatever.
And now I'm thinking like California Sleep in SF. He like nose slides a ledge and then like nollies out, which maybe is common now, but at the time it was like fucking steezy as fuck.
I feel the heat from here.
Yo, it's Rapid Fire with the Ghost, and this week we're honored to be brought to you by Crooked Skateboards. Crooked's Summer One Drop is out now with boards from the whole squad, including an extra special Ray Barbie Pro model featuring artwork from none other than Javier Mendizabal. Real cliche heads know. They've got their eye on staple boards in all shapes, sizes, and color ups. And heads up, Summer 2 is already creeping up with some stuff so special, we're not even allowed to spill the tea just yet. Word on the street is there's a zip zinger in the mix for the first time in years. Grab the boards at the Block, Heritage, Amateur Athlete, Pawn Shop in the States, and in Canada at Stuntwood, Antisocial, The Drive, and OK Skate Co. And Jim, let us get a box for fuck's sakes. I need a zip zinger in my life. All right, Patrick, I'm gonna get a little rapid fire popping before we get you out of here.
Oh shit, I forgot about this.
You ready? Favorite skater?
John Cardiel.
Favorite video?
Sight Unseen with John Cardiel and Heath Kirchart.
Hell yeah.
Tosh.
Oh shit.
Tosh, man.
Favorite favorite video part?
Oh, I'm gonna say Rob Dyrdek Memory Screen, which should be my favorite video, and I forgot. But I'm gonna say Rob Dyrdek Memory Screen. He skates to the lung, Dinosaur Jr. I fucking love it.
Oh yeah. Favorite style?
Ben Cato.
Which skater had the biggest influence on the way you skate?
See, I'm not good at skating, so it's like, oh, you know what? Guy Mariano and Dan this, because I remember he was a little bit older, maybe 1 year older, and I remember thinking, like, he was 15 and I was 14. I was like, he can do like these board slides and shit. In 1 year, I'll be as good as Guy Mariano. It didn't pan out. And now that I think of it, I'm going to change my answer and say Frankie Hill banned this because he was hucking himself downstairs.
Most talented skateboarder on planet Earth?
Andrew Reynolds.
Favorite trick?
Oh, I get clowned for this, but I always do frontside rocks. So I'm going to say my favorite trick is a frontside rock.
Hell yeah. Hardest trick for you?
Pivot fagies. Because I could say a trick I've never done, but I've done a pivot fagie, and every time I'm scared shitless, and it takes a long time. And I haven't done one in years, but pivot fagie.
Great trick.
Mm-hmm.
Most illegal trick?
I'm going to say pivot fagies where you fucking put your truck down and then come in.
Oh.
Because I've seen somebody do like a frontside 5-0 and then put their front truck down and then go into fakie like it was a 5-0 fakie. And it kind of made me mad because I was like, well, yeah, I could do that. Like, but I'm not going to do that. and then it made me mad just because like there's a world I could live in if I could accept doing 5.0 fakies and then putting your front truck down and then kind of sketching to fake, like reverting in. If I allow myself to do that, then I could do it. But so anyway, I'm gonna say that.
Wait, do you mean like going into rock?
Like, say you're doing a 5.0,
Mm-hmm.
and like we used to call it like a suicide, where you fucking go in straight backwards. Sometimes people put their truck down.
Oh.
And like.
Oh no. Okay, I was having troubles picturing what you meant. Yeah. I know.
People do them frontside more.
It's
like,
more
so
common, yeah.
You'll see them frontside. Like someone will do like a frontside 5.0.
Yeah.
More like a slash.
Yeah.
And then pull it into fakie.
No, that's brutal.
But they like use their front truck to like cheat.
That's absolutely.
It just makes me mad.
horrendous.
No, it just makes me mad because I'm like jealous or I don't know.
That's a great one. Haven't heard that one before, but definitely agree. What's your favorite clip you've ever gotten, and or favorite photo you've ever shot, if you prefer?
Oh, favorite thing I've shot of somebody else?
But well, the original question is favorite clip you've ever gotten, like a clip that someone filmed you doing.
Yeah, then I'm gonna do. One time John Tripp, who used to film for Forum Ones, and he made like a fit video and stuff. He filmed me crooked grind a handrail. This little, well, now it's like a little rail, called what was it called? The Presidio rail, I guess, in SF. Like Gons does the switch lip slide on it, and Henry Sanchez skates it.
Oh,
I
the
just
silver one?
I did like a crooked grind where it went like maybe even kind of went into a nose slide, but I always think back like, dude, I crooked a rail.
Dude, you have that clip?
But I
We
haven't
need
seen
that
the clip. You could DM him and maybe he could find it. I have not seen this, but I did do that.
You did it. Maybe it's better we don't find the clip.
I know. I like remember it all like epic. That was the thing. Every time I film skating, I think in my head that I'm fucking shredding, and then I'm like, look at the clip, and it's horrifying. I have bad style. I do like weird shit with my arms. No one wants to see it.
What's the worst trend you've been a part of?
Oh, yeah. I look back at like, I had long hair and dyed it all. I think the thing is I've had like identity crises in my life, and so I would say the super tight pants and dyed Kurt Cobain hair. I wish I had always just had a normal haircut.
That's fair. What's the gnarliest trick you've ever witnessed?
Probably one of those Reynolds like frontside flips or something, but gnarliest tricks I've witnessed. Dude, I don't know. I'm kind of out of the game, so this is like thinking back.
What's the biggest Reynolds frontside flip you were there for?
Yeah, gotta be a Reynolds.
Oh, the front of those Atlanta stairs.
Ooh.
And then I saw them, the Atiba photo. The Atiba photo in Vancouver of like the crowd and
the Go Skate Day double.
I was filming that for like an epically later like Wild Ride or something. So I'm like in the crowd somewhere.
That thing's insane.
And then I think I even remember thinking at the time like, oh, another Reynolds frontside flip. Like, big shit. I've seen it 1,000 times. And then Atiba shot one of the most like iconic skate photos ever of it.
Yeah, that was so sick. What's the one trick that got away?
I don't know. One time we were in Bulgaria with Jerry and stuff, and there I was shooting a thrash article, and then I thought I could nose slide this hubba, and then I had Jerry set up the flashes, and I was going to shoot a photo, and then I just chickened out and didn't even fucking do it. Didn't even try. And I just always remember because I was like, Jerry, I'm going to set up the flashes. We're going to escape photo of me, and then I just fucking chickened out.
Sounds pretty epic. That could potentially be the answer to the next question. But what's the biggest bunt you've ever witnessed?
Yeah, dude. You guys are gonna hate me. I don't know what that means.
It's basically what you just described, but like claiming no slide on the hubba and then not even trying it, or like flailing down the stairs one time. Like anyone who kind of like, I mean, as a photographer, I'm sure people would claim crazy tricks to you and then like do what you did basically.
I remember Tino doing that to me drunk at Max Fish when we were drinking at the thing. Like there was this Hubble Ledge in Columbus, Ohio, and he wanted a blunt slide it. It was indoor Hubble Ledge. And he'd just be like, don't let anyone blunt slide it. Don't let anyone blunt slide it. I'd be like, hey, we're going on a road trip to Ohio. Don't let them blunt slide it. And I think Nick Dompier did it.
Oh.
And he'd be like, oh, come on. Like, that's not bunting, but it was just, I just remember it being like,
That's
dude,
good though.
you can't just spend like a year and a half like talking about some blunt slide in Columbus, Ohio. He might do. But that wasn't bunt, because bunt implies that it was whack. It was more like,
For us as kids, it would be like, I'd be like, I'm gonna kickflip this gap, and then I would like try it, but not really try, just kind of like kick away or jump down, and then be like, yeah, I tried to kickflip that.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
You
Donald's
didn't actually
again.
Try to kickflip that.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that sounds
good,
like that's a
though. It's
perfect
like-
one.
yeah.
We'll take that blunt slide story. And it must have been gnarly if Nick Dompier blunt slid it, because he's one of the gnarliest in his day.
Yeah.
What's the last new trick you learned?
I did a frontside shove. I guess I didn't learn it, but I remember we were filming Epically Later, and we've interviewed Jeremy Ray, and we were skating. He's like, let's skate the skate park, and he has this like GoPro on a stick, and so I did doubles lines with Heath and Jeremy Ray, and I'm pretty like out of shape and shitty at skating, but I was like, I did a kickflip. We did like a kickflip line, like back-to-back kickflip. And then I did a pop shove, or Heath did a pop shove it, and I did a frontside shove it. And the frontside shove it was like, looked easy. Like it looks easy, but I actually like battled it. And I remember in my head thinking like, I fucking love Jeremy Ray. Like, I don't like know him very well, but like when I was young, he's like a god to me. And I just remember thinking like, I'll never get a chance to fuck. I was about to give up. Like I was like, I can't fucking suck. But anyway, I got a line with like a frontside pop shove it with it's on my Instagram, whatever, Jeremy and Heath.
Hell
And
yeah.
it felt like learning a new trick because I had to like relearn frontside shove it.
I learn, relearn.
I don't think I'm ever gonna learn another new trick, but I have to relearn. Like the other day, I was skating with my kid, and it was just like, oh yeah, I can do a kickflip, and I fucking couldn't land the kickflip, and I was getting so mad, just like a kickflip on flat.
Yeah.
And so then I'm all of a sudden pissed off, and I have to fucking make the kickflip. You know what I mean?
This one doesn't apply exactly, but it's what's your dream job after skating? But for you, it could just be like dream job after, like dream job doing something no longer related to skating, if there is one.
Yeah, park ranger.
Oh, let's go.
Work in a national park. Whenever, like put out fires, take out the trash, check for animals, count. Yeah, be a park ranger.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Maybe as long as I get a good park, like
a national one.
Yeah, like Yosemite or Bryce Canyon or something. I don't want to do like St. Louis Arch.
Love that. Favorite local brand?
Well, my problem is where I'm local to. I'm in Philadelphia right now. I'm not going to pick a Philadelphia brand, but I'm going to say Alien Workshop, Columbus or Ohio.
Let's go. Favorite local skater?
Okay, I'm going to still pretend I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Chaz McGee. He was this little kid who skated Dodge, or he's not little anymore, but he could do, he literally could do like 500 like 540 flyouts, and he aired over the Volcom van when they came on a demo. He's one of the most gifted skaters I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And, he never made like a real career, but if you go on YouTube and type in Chaz McGee, you'll find some fucking sick skating. He would do like early grabs and shit. He was from the housing projects down the hill from Dodge Skate Park. And honestly, is one of my favorite skaters ever.
Sick. Shout out Chaz. Favorite teammate ever? And you could just turn it into like someone you went on a trip with.
Well, then I would say Spanky, Kevin Long, for
That's
sure.
Worst teammate ever.
Worst teammate. So I wasn't on a team, so I guess I get off. I get off without not having to say anyone.
Worst, not teammate, but trip mate, tour mate.
Oh God! On the Baker trip, they would. Robin Fleming would put me in a room. Every day they would pick a random person you're in the room with, and sometimes people like team up, but I think I floated a little bit. And I didn't like sharing a room with Reynolds because maybe it's a Florida thing, but he blasts the air conditioning. It's so cold that it's fucking freezing. And I would take the comforter from his bed, so I had 2 comforters, and was still just shivering. Didn't understand it. And then one night I shared a room with Beagle, the filmer, and he would play CNN, like or not CNN, but he would turn on like QVC or some channel and it's playing. And he would like argue. He was like on the phone with his girlfriend, not arguing, but just like bullshit, like some bullshit TV. And then I would turn the TV off, trying to go back to sleep. And he'd have the metal thing in the door, the latch, so it would like slam. And then he would come back in, like go out and smoke a joint or something, and come back in and then turn the TV back on.
Oh God!
And I think he just liked the white noise of the TV.
Yeah, the background noise.
And I think both of them, I think I told Robin, like, don't put me in a room with Beagle anymore. Don't put me in a room with Reynolds anymore. And then I think I would room with Spanky. But then I remember when I going to the America trip, and then Jerry got on America, and then they started rooming, and I was like the third wheel. So I didn't get to. I remember like honestly being a little sad, like, man, I used to get to room with like both those dudes, and now they room with each other, and I'm like on the outs.
Worst company.
Did you ever going trucks with it had like a groove for grinding? It's not the worst company. Like people would say, like if I was trying to like get some credit, I'd say like Tracker or something. But you know, like the Nortels.
Truck companies are funny, man.
I had a Grind King that had the Allen key, and then it had a riser pad that you could put the Allen key in. Or did you have bridge bolts?
No.
There were like the bolts that go across, so you'd have 2 bolts and you put them in.
Oh.
There was so much like weird gimmicky shit. I mean, it's like probably like that for every fucking skater. Like some gimmicky thing comes out. But I had Goldwings, I had bridge bolts, I had Grand Kings.
All of them.
They're all truck.
All
I don't know
gimmicks.
why I'm naming truck brands.
Worst trend.
Dude, I don't know. I guess things. I'm not just like rehashing things we already talked about, like people landing tricks and looking bummed. I think like littering. Not that that's a trend, but I've been on trips where someone like littered, and it just fucking annoyed me.
That's a good one.
Or I mean, these aren't trends, but they're just things people do on trips. I hate when people are like rude to rude to somebody for no reason. Because I've been on ones where like we're all at like TGI Fridays, and someone's like rude to the waitress or saying some shit. I remember one in specifically. I was just like, it's not a trend, but it's. You know what? It could be a trend. Like sometimes people go through waves of like being little like sociopaths, like it's just, you know, like the societal contracts break down and people just start being rude. So I don't know if it's skaters in general, but I get real sensitive about people being. Okay, I'm going to say fighting security guards.
Oh, great.
Like sometimes in a video, I'm like, someone's arguing. I'm like, why don't you guys just like chill the fuck out and leave?
Yeah.
And try again in like 3 hours or 6 hours. Like fighting, but the security guard fighting footage always looks sick in the video sometimes. But now I'm such an old, I'm like approaching 50.
Yeah.
So sometimes in the videos, I'm like, oh, dude, you guys, stop fighting the security guard.
Because
that's the shit I did. I did that shit when I was like a teenager, but now I like look back and cringe. Because security guards can be fucking dicks and cops can be fucking dicks or whatever. I'm not saying they aren't, but sometimes you gotta like take a deep breath and think about the like just getting the tricky one or other skaters getting the tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not whatever. I don't want to come off like an old fucking narc. I'm just saying. You don't have to be nice to the security guards, but I just think like play the long game and come back and
100%.
you know,
100%. Worst style.
probably me.
We got to find that crooked grind clip.
Yeah, I got like bad style. I got like my arms do weird stuff. I have a bad posture. Whole thing, no one wants to see it. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, I should like film some. I don't know. So I'm gonna say me, worst style.
All right. And last but not least, who's the last person you want on the sesh?
I'm gonna say Gator Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
No
for sure.
follow-up needed.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, man, it was a pleasure. We're huge fans of yours and really appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you guys having me. How old are you guys?
37.
37.
I'm only 10. I don't know why. I thought you guys were younger. I'm 48. Anyway, my point was just like it's nice to have people want to talk to me at all. So thanks for having me on. And I could drift away into obscurity. So it's like nice to. I'm grateful that you guys want to do this, and I'm grateful that people are even interested. So thank you.
Hell yeah,
Even
man.
though
Our
I've been
pleasure.
nervous. I've been nervous this whole time. So thanks.
No need, brother. Yeah. Can't wait to see the Alexis Sablon episode, and hopefully many, many more. Keep doing your thing.
Legend.
Wait, did you guys give me your requests?
Yeah, I
Tosh
said
Town.
Toshin and Woo Welsh. Sava, who do you want?
Damn, I didn't think about it. Because we're on the other side of it. Like, we went live on YouTube the other day, and like half the time was spent people just sending in names in the comments of who they wanted on the show. So I'm always like, half the emails we get, we don't read because it's always like, who do you want? So I didn't want to do that to you. Dono has no shame, but it's
Sorry, I can't help it. It's
I'm
my
just
only
kidding.
chance.
I'm trying to think of guests for you guys. Who do I want on your show? Did you have Tino on?
No, that'd be a great one.
Okay, I request Tino. I request. I don't know. You've had a lot of good ones. Maybe when Alexis comes out, you can have her. She's fucking sick.
We did Alexis here.
Oh, you did? My bad.
Yeah, no worries. Honestly, we're blessed with having like the long list we have. It's like funny when people say no to them. We're almost just like, it's okay. The one person I hounded to death was Kalis. I wasn't taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
Tried him once a year for 6 years, and he finally gave in.
I got Kalis because he was mad at me
Sounds about right.
about Dylan Reeder's episode
Mm.
because Jason Dill talked some trash, right?
Yeah.
About upriver, downriver.
Yeah.
Great. One of the all-time
Classic.
great skate quotes.
Yeah.
So they got mad. He got mad or didn't like it. Like I don't know. He just texted me to tell me he didn't like it. So then I just was like, well, do you want to do an episode?
Perfect.
And he's like, yes. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like that just went from me being all anxious and like, fuck, I don't want Kayla's mad at me. Fuck.
Yeah.
To like stoked within like minutes because he just said yes right away.
That's a good
And
one.
then I interviewed Deerdick about it. And one of the things I was going to say about why I wanted to do a Deerdick episode was because I liked that he was like self-deprecating. Like Deerdick was like, he's like, the whole upriver, downriver. I feel like he just said Kalis' name by accident. He's like, look at me. I'm so far fucking gone. I have TV shows and this and that. And I like that he was because that's what we value. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He wasn't taking himself too serious. He was like having a good time. And the questions I had for Deerdick was, and I interviewed him about this for a Big Brother documentary I did. He had a time machine in Big Brother, they would joke about Rob Dyrdek's time machine, and I was like, tell me about the time machine. And I got to learn all about Rob Dyrdek's time machine. And also, he got hypnotized to be better at skating.
What?
And he told me all about it. We didn't, the interview's nowhere. But I was like, did you get hypnotized to get better at skating? And he went to a hypnotist, and he said, he's like, you know, when you try a trick and you know you can do the trick, and he's like, you like kick one out, and then you grind a little bit and you kick it out, and you grind a little bit and kick it out. And then finally, after like an hour, you grind one and then pop and almost land it. He's like, I want to just skip to that. Can you hypnotize me so we can just skip to that? And the guy, he did it. But he said that's not really what it's for. It's more for success. And I'm pretty agnostic about like all kinds of, I don't know, but the way Dyrdek was telling me this, I was like, wow. And then he's like, yeah, then look at me. Like, look, I got a show. I got this. Like the guy hypnotized me. Look at me. And he's like, and my shitty cousin did the same fucking hypnosis, and he's got an $80 million fashion brand, which I think was Young and the Restless.
Yeah, Reckless.
That was
that shit was booming for a second.
Right. So I think that was his cousin. So he's like, my cousin.
Yeah, drama.
He goes, my shitty cousin from Dayton comes out here and gets hypnotized. Look at him.
Wow.
And when he was saying that, I was like, will you give me his number?
Yeah, like, send it our way after when you're done,
like,
Patrick.
I went from full on like hypnosis atheist to like, give me the fucking guy's number.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could report that I did that, and then that's how I got a Cardiel episode, but I did not do that, follow through on it.
Did it the old-fashioned way.
The world needs
Hard work.
the Dyrdek episode.
Yeah. Well, that's epic. If you ever get that number, definitely pass it on. And that's my official request, because I would love to see the Dyrdek episode if you could pull that off.
I think he'll just do it. He's got all his production companies and stuff. They'll probably make one themselves.
Yeah, but it won't be the same.
Yeah. I know, because I would just zero in on the Alien. He was telling me about Neil Blender and Mark Heinzman at Alien Workshop, and then like DC Super Tours and stuff. And that's what I would like zero in on. Yeah. And then kind of yada, 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 the like MTV stuff. You know, I'd be like, let's talk skate. Yeah. But, I don't know, maybe when he's not busy. I get a lot of that. Like people are just like, oh, I'm just a little busy right now. Maybe hit me back, you know, and I know it's a no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But they leave the window open, which is
they
nice.
leave the window open. I can
or the
email
door, whatever it is.
Because I've had a few of those. The real pros say that.
Yeah. That's epic. Well, thank you again, man. We killed it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the post office, brought to you by our good friends over at Dickey's Skateboarding. Quality workwear since 1922, from the work site to the streets. Ain't nobody keep you fitted like Dickey's, man. All right, Ghost. Second last ep of the season. The questions are piling in as per usual. Who we got up first?
Follow-up email thing from Messy Crockpot. My name is Mike. Hello to my favorite Canadians. Last week you guys read my email asking about the annual trick you have to do at least once a year. Then you guys played my clip and showed some love. I didn't leave my name like a goober. Guess it's that 44-year-old unk in me. My name is Mike and I reside in Visalia, CA, home of the OG Tom Knox and the Paz brothers, Jesse and Richard. Just wanted to leave my name and thank you guys for showing some love. I was working and my son texted me like, Dad, what the fuck? You're on the bunt. They're hyped on the clip, but you didn't leave your name. To get some love from my favorite podcast definitely boosted the ego and got me hyped. Had to screen record and put on my story, you dig? But question is, have you guys exercised the idea of possibly getting viewers on for Random Skater of the Week? Slight chirp, but more times than not, I feel like I've screamed the correct answer early on while you guys are lollygagging around waiting for the most obvious clues. My skate nerdism is up there, but my son is off the charts. Off the charts. He's 18, but he knows everything. It's insane and impressive. Love you guys. Keep it going. I need a Bunt hat and make an NA beer, please, and I'll order a case. Big Mike.
Big Mike, 18-year-old son, keeping you in check, up to date with how things go these days. Bro, the thing with Random Skater was, is like, if we had geniuses, it's like there was multiple Safas, it wouldn't go very far.
No, not me. Like multiple people that
feedback
beat me.
Teds.
Yeah.
Or this is the beauty behind it. You can play at home with your friends. And Lord knows I'm not guessing it. So, it has to go on for the people to enjoy the segment. We don't need the smartest, biggest skate nerds in the building for Random Skater, because then there would be no show. So, we have obviously wrestled with a couple different ideas, a tournament of the winners, maybe having all the winners from one season come on the last ep. But right now, it's still in its very early days. Just going to keep trucking along as we're doing it, man.
Yeah. But we need this shit to go at least 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is perfect. But if you come on the pod and guess after 2 guesses and no one knows who you are, that's not very entertaining.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? But everyone who's really good at it always wants to come on, and it's we respect the nerdism out there, but that defeats the whole purpose, because or else it'd be so boring. But we still got mad love for you, G. That flip back tail was gangsta.
I had fucking 4 guesses last week and I still couldn't catch it, man.
That was disgraceful by all of us. Holy shit.
All right. Messy Crockpot. Keep the clips coming. Keep listening to the Bunt. And the hats will be back up on the website soon, man. All right. Next up, we've got a voice note from Nicholas Frank. Let's take a listen.
What's up, Bump Boys? This is the Bay Area and Phoenix, Arizona's favorite manual-loving, anime-watching, chess-obsessed, skating nigga, Nick Frank. Coming to you guys with a question real quick. Do you guys have any nicknames for tricks? Growing up, me and my boys would call Switchback 180s sending it. If you were going to send something, it was specifically Switchback 180. And if you saw that shit in videos and stuff, we'd be like, oh, he sent that. We had the hyphy spin, which is just backside 360. The board does a 180. I have a homie Dylan who has a cold cut combo, which is a laid back backside 5-0 nose grab on quarter pipes. Just wondering if you guys had any little nicknames for things like that. And big shout out to my boy Dylan. He's the one who got me into the podcast, but he's also joining the ranks of fatherhood in October. So congrats to the big homie. Can't wait to see your little dude. And I just want to say thanks to the Bunt, one of the best skate podcasts, if not the best skate podcast out there.
There we go.
Yeah, it's both. All right. Nicholas, yeah, man, shout out. Father's Day today. Shout out all the skate dads listening in the building around the world. Skate trick nicknames. There's only one that matters, and it's the front bend. Back in the day, our good homie Ben Davis attempting to learn front blunts on ledges. He could lock them, but the sliding wasn't happening, and he would manual out to the side, and it's now known as a front bend.
Kind of like that Janowski thing.
What was that?
When he would just do a back tail / front blunt, just balanced on his wheels. Remember? I think in Mosaic.
Yeah, but at least the wheels were sliding.
Yeah.
Ben's wheels had no sliding.
Yeah.
And then he had what did he call that shit, Ben, when he would board slide and it would be grinding on the truck the whole time?
I can't remember. But front bend is probably my favorite one. There's probably so many we're not remembering. The one that comes to mind is the one that people never want to believe I coined, but the Punisher, the back 50, back 180. Playing Jacob Williams in skate at the back of a drift. He's not the best at regular back 180 stuff, and he was at T, and I knew he was going to fall twice. So I was like, yo, Jakes, I got one for you. The Punisher. And I did a back 50, back 180, and he fell twice, and I won. and it stuck. And then we reversed it with the rewarder, which was front 50, front 180, but no one really used that one.
Which is awful. Yeah. I think that's it, man. For our crew, anyways, I'm sure there's a Noah one.
Yeah, he's probably got so many.
Just can't think of any more, man. Oh, what were they calling Crook Shove for a little while? Oh, no, they were calling...
No, that's the drink.
Yeah.
It's called the Crook Shove. Yeah, the tequila and ginger ale.
Let's call it the Crook Shove, yeah.
Perfect drink.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. That's a good one. Front Ben, the Punisher, the Rewarder.
Nicholas Frank, Bay Area legend. All right, next up, we got an email. Oh, a voice note from Brett Sehan. Oh, this is the long one.
You want to read it and then do it?
I haven't listened to the voice note, but basically the email is like a lot of history about the Sonics, and I'll try and recap it as best I can because it's pretty long. But basically, he was saying that he says I'm 100% right and Donna was dead wrong. That was about the Sonics, and like I don't know what Donald's argument was, but basically their owner was afraid that they were going to lose viewership because the NHL was going to bring a hockey team there. So the owner, instead of like making the building bigger or whatever so that it could fit, like usual NBA arenas are like 18 to 21,000 range.
Mm-hmm.
And so to make sure the NHL wouldn't come, they had to keep it under 15,000 seats. So the owner made it 14,999 seats. And then David Stern and some rich dudes from OKC orchestrated the team to leave because even though they were selling out every night, there wasn't enough money. So I don't know. Basically, this homie is saying that it was the OKC people and the NBA and David Stern's greed that caused them to lose the team in Seattle. But when me and Donald read this, we're like, wait a minute. It's the owner who was scared of hockey for some weird reason. So I'd say that dude needs to look in the mirror about all this. But regardless, very unfortunate for Seattle, and hopefully they get a team back soon.
Yeah, like I'm the villain. And now they got hockey, and there's still no basketball.
Yeah, so very poor decision making in hindsight all around. But let's take a listen to this voice note. Let's see what this is about.
Bunt boys, it's Sonics fan Brett here. I'm listening to the rundown, and you got me livid. Dono, it was a rug pull. The Sonics were stolen. To insinuate that it was the fans' fault that the team left is insane. They had some of the best attendance in the league throughout their history, including the year they left to OKC. What happened was an arena dispute, and David Stern, the ex-commissioner of the NBA, got pissed and allowed the CEO of Starbucks to sell the team to an Oklahoma City businessman who never once wanted to keep the team in Seattle. But he would say, oh, we're going to keep the team here, we're going to keep the team here. And then one day, they just left. Fans of the Sonics were totally blindsided with this whole thing. Yeah, it was a total rug pull. The fans were not at fault at all. Also, Sonics fans don't fault Oklahoma City fans. What they don't want is to see Clay Bennett, the guy who stole the team, the Oklahoma City businessman, raise an NBA league trophy. Yeah, it's crazy. Dono, you think it can't happen to you? The Leafs or Toronto's team, whatever. It can happen to you. Once rich business people get involved, everything gets fucked. All right. Keep up the good work, boys. Yeah. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Just to start, bro.
Brett was livid.
There's nobody richer in hockey than the Leafs owners. There's literally zero chance. It's like the best business in almost all of sports is the Toronto Maple Leafs. But if that were to happen to my team, if I was a small market fan, I would be furious, devastated, downright disgusted with all of this as well. I see your point, Brett. Apologize if I was overboard. You know, sometimes I talk about a lot of stuff I know nothing about, and I guess this is one of those cases. But I don't think. I mean, the problem is with the owner who wouldn't make the arena bigger. Is that the bottom line here?
Seems like it to me. It just seems very unfortunate, just from the beginning of the process to the end. Some short-sightedness for sure. By the homie being petty with the hockey shit, man. Now they all got the Seattle Kraken.
You might get a piece of the Leafs. You might get Mitch Marner out there. Fuck, it's sad, man. Is the NBA planning on expanding anytime soon?
Yeah, there's talk of 2 new teams coming in the
Where are they going to end up?
Future. I mean, everyone
Vegas.
thought was a betting man, Seattle and Vegas. But then Adam Silver said something about more Canada the other day.
Oh, that ain't going to work.
Who knows?
That is not going to work. Vegas and Seattle would be great. They got the hockey arena there. Now you guys can hop right in. But as far as the stats going, like Seattle to OKC, if Seattle gets this new team, how's that going to all work out? I got no idea. Frankly, it doesn't really affect me or the new Seattle team. I don't know what they would do there, man.
They should just admit they were wrong and then restart Seattle with the old Seattle.
Who was wrong?
The NBA. They're just trying to keep it all one.
Oh,
Bro, the OKC and Seattle, like, just split the fucking record books. God damn.
Yeah, but in the record book, it will say Seattle and OKC. It is separate.
Yeah, but they count the championships and the stats. It's all like one thing.
They do that in the NFL too, like St. Louis and LA and Vegas. Yeah, it's a fucking mess. Everybody moving. Everyone wants to go to Vegas or somewhere to make some money. Yeah, it's sad when these teams or these cities lose their teams.
But I mean, I guess the name thing makes it even more egregious, kind of, to me. You know, like the Raiders. Maybe the Oakland Raiders should just be their own thing. But then, you know, when they move and keep the name, it's like,
yeah,
it's kind of
the
like
Rams
a slap
have
in the
done
face.
that too.
Yeah,
the Chargers,
the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, we've never experienced that here, so we can't even like really speak on it. But imagine the Raptors left or the Leafs left to fucking Vegas. And then they won a championship that first year. It's
the
like,
Las Vegas Maple Leafs?
Yeah, like...
I'd cheer for them, though.
I don't know. Easy to say now. Easy to say now.
Yeah, easy to say. All right, Brett. Apologies, man. Sorry you had to go through that shit. Hopefully they give you a new team, dude. All right, next up, we've got an email from David Glass. Hey, Safa and Donovan. Met you guys in July 2023 at that event on Ossington. Copped a couple Beamers and the vibes were immaculate. Shout out to you both for being so kind and cool in person. I had a dream that I posed this question to a group at a party where current capos and I Shot Wear were in attendance and fights broke out for some reason. Do you think skaters in LA have more clout or get more recognition from the general public than in other places? Because it was the industry hub for so long. Love the pod. Keep up the great work, Dave.
The clout. I would say no to the clout, but maybe yes to the recognition a bit.
The fuck is clout?
I don't know.
Yeah, fucking Urban Dictionary for clout. Hold on a second. Let's get to the bottom of this. I've heard that word a couple times. I have no idea what it means, man.
It's just like fucking, you know, waving your...
refers to fame, popularity, and influence, particularly on social media. Signifies having a large following. So do LA skaters get more recognition?
It's like if you pulled up to a club with a huge line and you just walk to the front and that's your clout and you're just like, yo. And they're just like,
I think the easy answer is yes. Like all the most famous ones are in Los Angeles. Or surrounding areas. Who is the most famous skateboarder in the game right now outside of LA?
Where does Tiago live?
Yeah, but Tiago goes to an LA party. Are like random people gonna know Tiago?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to answer the question.
I mean, I think the easy answer is yes. With the LA skaters get all the recognition and all that stuff.
Yeah, recognition. But I don't even know if it's about being in LA, but I'm sure it helps just being in the mix at all times. But it's a good question. Who are
Maybe
like the top
Tiago.
5?
Is there anyone in Australia super famous
with big time clout? Anthony Mapstone. Most clout in the game, dog.
Oh man, I don't even know who's got like outside of maybe someone in New York.
Alex Olsen had clout for days.
Holy fuck, yeah, he did. Yeah,
But he was
I
in
guess.
LA at first.
But my answer is yeah for LA.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, it's
question.
a tough one because it's like if you pull them out of LA, do they still have the same clout? My guess is yes. Just because they live there, does that change it? I don't know. But a lot of them do end up there. It's a fun ass place. Interesting question. Pull Mason Silva out of LA, he's got 0 clout. You get me?
Was that necessary?
Because he was chirping me earlier.
Oh Jesus.
All right, next up, we got an email from Chris Sarte. Toronto recommendations. All right. Hey guys, me and a crew of 3 30-plus-year-old homies are coming up to Toronto next Wednesday from New Jersey. The day this episode would come out. Okay, you can listen to this on the plane or drive, whatever. Wanted to reach out and see what the top 3 skate spots are, skate parks, restaurants, and lastly, bars that we should hit up. Also, if Florida versus Edmonton goes to Game 7, doubtful with Edmonton's trash goaltending, where should we be watching it that Friday night? Thanks and keep up the good work.
I wish we knew where he was staying.
Yeah.
That would be a big help, but obviously, ask and you shall receive. Skate spots. 1 skate park, 2 skate spots.
I mean, no, skate park's easy. We could just throw 3. If you want to go indoor, if it's raining, just go to Skate Loft. You know what I'm saying? In Scarborough. That's the place to be. And then otherwise, Ashbridges in the East End. It's probably the main big outdoor one. And then Dunbat in the West End is the one where we do the Bunt Jam. I don't know if you've seen clips. Just some ledges, flat bars. Favorite park in the city.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're even more west, Duff Grove is chill as well.
Yeah, even better ground than Dunbat. A little smaller, but also epic. Yeah. Skate spots, I have no idea, man.
Skate
CBC.
spots, I would go to CBC just to have a look at it. Obviously, you've seen the Bobby video there. Just get a feel for it. It's a spot you can skate, not get kicked out. Hard to skate.
You can just type in CBC because it's like at the CBC building.
Yeah. I think you can skate the pond right now, maybe. I'm not sure if it's full, but Lake Devo is what it's called. It's just like a pond at Ryerson University. Some small ledges that go around the inside of the pond.
It's not called Ryerson anymore, too, though. So you might have to look up what Ryerson's name got switched to. Just go to Dundas Station.
TMU. It's Toronto Metropolitan University. Then you could go to U of T Manny, which is a little manual pad on Beverly Street, just north of College. That is easy to find.
And then you can just skate around that campus, and there's a bunch of shit.
Yep. Okay. Give us a couple restaurants.
Fuck, this one where you're staying would be really helpful, but let's go one. I'll pick one in the East End.
Mm-hmm.
Say, check out Ricky and Olivia. Happy hour, 3 to 6, $6 beamers, but the food is amazing. That's a good one. Carla and Queen.
Mm-hmm. It's my turn.
Yeah. West End.
West End. Chill spot. Easy. You go to the Ladybug Tavern. It's
You
on
just told me it's
college.
too expensive, Bled. You don't even go there anymore.
It's just bro, every place is expensive to eat.
Just give them Union.
Do you want to talk expensive?
Yeah, but it's like elite food. You were saying that Ladybug is just regular
But I was gonna
bar
say you
food,
can have a
but too
beer and watch
expensive.
the game there if you wanted. Ladybug Tavern,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
mine and Sava's favorite. Whenever we meet up for a nice meal, we'll go to Union on Ossington. Shit. Oh, bro. Right now, my favorite Sugo. You go to Sugo at Lansdowne and Bloor. It's hard to get in there, but it's elite Italian food.
New spot also on Ossington, Bonito's. And
Benito's,
if-
you always get in there because it's early, so it's a good spot for sure.
And then you can go downstairs in the basement to Bar Bowie after for a martini.
Act like a boss.
That's an
And then-
epic one too.
If there is a Game 7, the most elite sports bar in the city.
Oh god.
It's far west for the homies in the east, but it's called Rosa Bronca, College in Ossington, free peanuts, $6 Coronas, and I'll be there for Game 7. So if it goes to it, because it's
Oh
Friday
man,
night.
we need that, man. This ain't the rundown, but I'm cheesed. But yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully
yeah.
Game 7, baby.
And then we'll even drag Safa out for Game 7.
I'll
I have to go pick him up
there.
and then bring him down here.
Yeah,
But that's
fingers
a good,
crossed.
it's
When's
a
the
good
next
list.
game? Tuesday?
something like that. You can always hit us up if you need help. Just hit me up on my personal Instagram if you need help looking around. All right, next up, we have a voice note from Rob. Let's take a listen.
Yo, D Jones, Safa, it's your boy Rob from Plus Skateboarding. I'm sitting here at the shop right now, staring at all these amazing boards that we have for sale and the old boards on the ceiling. And one thing that I've loved from the first time that I've found out about skateboarding was the art on the boards and the graphics. And continue to this day, man. It's just one thing that I just absolutely love about skateboarding is the art involved in all aspects of it. I will not skate a board if I don't like the graphic. And that just had me thinking, man, if you guys were to turn pro next month, Jim calls you guys, he's putting you on.
Jim.
What's going to be the first pro model graphic for you guys? And yeah, man, that's it. Appreciate you guys getting me through all these years of screen printing in my basement, listening to the pod. Shout out to the Plus fam out there. Shout out to all of Michigan skateboarding. And yeah, man, keep it up, boys. All right, peace.
Okay, Rob, one of the real good guys in the skate game. If we were to go pro tomorrow on a shared graphic,
Oh, shared?
this one just came to mind because I thought he was going to ask what our favorite graphic of all time was. And it was the Cheech and Chong Tom Penny flipboard. So me and the ghost could, But if you're going solo graphic, first pro board, what are you going with, man?
Bro, I don't have an artsy bone in my body. Like, I'm so not creative when it comes to that type of shit. So I would just tell a graphic designer a couple of my favorite things. Cheetahs, my favorite animal. Some sort of cheetah graphic would be sick.
Jesus Christ.
Basketball, Kobe, and Dragon Ball Z. Those are the three top things that come to mind. Vegeta.
That's the mashup?
Anything, not a mashup would be brutal, but like
yeah.
some
That's a
sort of
fucking
cheetah
crazy
graphic.
board.
Yeah, the rights. I mean, Primitive could pull off a Vegeta board. They already have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer.
Crazy. One of the series of boards that's always stuck out to me over the years, mostly because they were on the wall at Shred Central, and the Dying to Live video came out around that time, was the Zero stained glass boards, man. Those ones were epic. Maybe you can make a run of the Bunt stained glass artsy boards for the Ghost, man.
What's yours?
That was it. That's the one I like. The stained
Oh,
glass.
you said for the ghost.
Yeah, well, you didn't have an idea. So maybe we'll do a stained glass cheetah.
There you go.
Whatever. What's your favorite graphic of all time? Coming up with your own is hard, but I'm sure you have like a favorite one you skated or one you always wanted or the one that stuck out.
Not really. I feel like when I was a kid and I go to skate shops, I would just like look at the shoes for days. Like I always wanted the Costin 3S shoe.
Oh, that was an unreal shoe.
Like I would just go into, and remember, I think this came up, I don't know if it came up on the pod or like off the pod, but I was trying to remember the name of that shop on Yonge Street and it finally popped into my head. Solar.
Okay.
Was that what it was called?
There was one, yeah.
Yeah. But me and Phil would just walk there at lunchtime and literally just stare at shoes.
Yeah.
So I don't have, but when that question comes up these days, I say that one. I absolutely love Chad Dixon's graphic right there.
It's a good one.
Our brother. So great board. So I'll say that one.
That is a really good one. Yeah, the James Hardy one with the Alabama A and the Hardy. Absolute classic. One I always wanted as a kid was Mark Appleyard with the neon apple in there.
Oh, yeah,
epic.
Yeah.
You know,
a good one.
huge Flip fan back in the day. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Let's go. One more quick one here. I got a lot to get through.
Oh, this is a quick one. Perfect. All right. We got an email from Dylan LaGrange. During Spanish Mike's Random Skater of the Week, did he throw in a Richie right at the end as a reference to Appleyard's episode when he called Donovan Richie? Thanks for the pod, guys. I look forward to it each week.
Obvious answer there. Yeah, I think Spanish, you know, throwing a little joke out there. But that's a good running joke to have, man.
But yo, I actually don't remember. I'd have to watch it because maybe he was joking, but I think some people don't know that our good friend Richie Valdez. Yeah, most people don't know that our friend Richie Valdez is the producer for Random Skater. So the reason Appleyard made that mistake was because it says everyone's name in the bottom corner when there's like 4 people on the screen. And so Richie's in there. So Mark sees Richie and then he leaves when we start recording. And so that it must have just been in his head and he just like read it, like went with that instead of because Donald's says the bunt. It doesn't say his name. So that's what happened there. So with Spanish, I don't know if he was actually saying thanks Richie to Richie or if he was making the Appleyard joke.
Either way.
Either way. It was
shit.
good. That was Appleyard, fucking legend. That was a classic bunt moment right there.
Yeah. All right, y'all. That's going to wrap up the post office for this week. Get your emails, voice notes, and whatever the hell you got over to thebuntlive@gmail.com. Last episode of the season. Make them some good ones, man. Don't ask what our setup is. This is the rundown, the skateboard world source for sports. Ghost, 2-2 in the NBA, 3-2 in the NHL. Where you want to start?
Let's get the NHL out of the way because I'm cheesed over here.
3-2, man. They were down 2-1. They were down 3-0 in the game. The Edmonton Oilers showed some resolve, battled back, even took the lead, got sent to OT, but still stuck to their guns, and they win it in overtime. All the goals in OT are a little bit sloppy. That one, no exception. But then Game 5, pivotal Game 5. Florida does the job, man. Goes into Edmonton, lays the smack down. Brad Marchand running wild all over him. What was the key to the game? What's the key to Edmonton getting back in the series, man?
It's unfortunate. It just feels like, you know, my untrained eye, it just feels like I don't know who the players are, but it just feels like Florida's deeper. And Edmonton, you know, they got the star power at the top end, but then maybe aren't as deep. which we've seen in the NBA playoffs. Depth is the name of the game these days. And Florida seemed to be very Pacers-esque. They just come at you nonstop in waves. And the 2 games that Edmonton won was fucking barely winning in overtime situations. And then 2 of the games they lost, they got absolutely fucking destroyed. And then 1 was an OT. But overall, I think the NHL is just hyped. Even this is my first time watching this much hockey, and like it's just very exciting. So great series. The 2 blowouts, obviously not as fun, but to have 3 out of 5 games go to overtime is just incredible for the NHL. But
It's
come on,
absolutely
Edmonton.
perfect.
Come on, man.
This is the difference is, and you're right, it is the depth, but it's the scoring depth. Like you're seeing all 3 lines in Florida scoring. The defense is pitching in, and the games where Edmonton is in the game, they're getting that secondary scoring. Like usually in the NHL and mostly a lot of pro sports, the top end guys in the big games kind of cross each other out, you know? Like the guys on Florida taking care of the guys on Edmonton, and it's the second and third line that's making a difference for Florida. They need more scoring. Zach Hyman going down didn't help for Edmonton, but other guys have to find a way. You got to just make it ugly, you know? Get to the dirty spots. And they need better goaltending. The Stuart Skinner getting absolutely blown out, and then the backup coming in, winning the game for them. And then they start the backup, and then he gives up a couple goals. They just need a solid performance in Game 6. Send this shit to 7, and then you're playing 7 on home ice. That's the goal. There's nothing more than you need to go to Florida and win 2-1, essentially. If you give up 3, 4, 5 goals, odds are you're not going to be able to hang around. The defense has to be locked in. They can't take so many fucking penalties. They're a very undisciplined team in this series. There was one game when they went down 6-1. They had like 25 penalties. They're trying to fight. I get they're frustrated, but that is Florida's game. They frustrate you. They hit you. They slash you. They get under your skin. Edmonton has to play a different game. They got to play clean cut, fast paced, strong defense, low scoring. They need a good game out of their goalie, good game out of their defense, and let Leon and Connor, let the goal or 2 that they get make the difference, you know? Don't go down 3-1, 2-1, where those guys have to score, you know? And Edmonton has to score first. If they don't score first, they're going to be in a world of trouble. And I could see it ending in 6. But I want that game on Friday night. I want to go to the pub. Let's get this game popped, man. Come on, Edmonton. I'll pull for you on whatever night it is.
Tuesday. Just checked
Tuesday
it.
night.
Yeah.
So they're going to have 3 nights off? Tuesday, was it 2 nights off? I don't want to be that guy, but this shit is going on way too long, man.
Same in the NBA. It's kind of crazy. It's
like, bro, push this shit along, man. Come on. All right. That said, we both want Game 7 desperately. It's been a great series. 2 best teams. I would feel awful for these guys if they lose twice in a row in the finals to the same team.
That's pure pain, man.
You just feel fucking little brothered bad.
Yeah. It's like the Cavs. 2018.
Yeah. Didn't they come back and win the third?
No. They lost the first one, won the next one, then lost 2 in a row.
Oh.
And then they didn't. Then LeBron went to LA, and then the Raptors won the next one. NBA.
Let's go.
Super sick, amazing series. Also very thankful for this, and I hope NBA fans aren't complaining about small markets and lesser known players, but this has been epic.
It's where stars are made.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this series to me so far has been that I think OKC was the better team in the first 2 games, and that was a split. And I think the Pacers were the better team in the last 2 games, and that was also a split. So very nerve-wracking for OKC fans being under the gun twice, down 0-1 and then down 2-1. But they found a way to respond, and we got 2-2, which is where it should be, in my opinion. The crazy thing, we've been talking about how both teams have tons of depth. The crazy thing was in game 3, seeing the depth of the Pacers just completely annihilate. I mean, it wasn't an annihilation, but they were just dominating from basically start to finish in that game. and I just counted it. They had 9 players play 15 minutes or more, which
That's
is
crazy.
insane. At
Probably
this
felt so
point.
fresh.
Yeah, and then the Thunder, who everyone's been raving about their depth, they only had 7 players play 15 minutes or more.
That's still a lot.
It is, but you could see it. And the crazy thing was seeing Shea's exhaustion in Game 3. And I was like, yo, this might be done. Like, if they don't make a serious adjustment, it might be done. Those guys were full of energy, closed the game out. And Shea, every time he fell on the ground, was, I don't know if you remember seeing him on the ground like this, just down there for 30 seconds at a time, trying to catch his breath. He had nothing left in the tank. And they were guarding 94 feet the whole fucking game.
Yo, they're so annoying. You can't even get an inbound pass. It's like in the third quarter, and they're all over you.
Yeah, that was the McConnell game, right? Game 3. Yeah. So that was very impressive. And I was like, we were at the keg. Shout out Simon for our boys' 40th the other night.
Looks 50.
Yeah, well,
just kidding.
So we're watching the game while eating our steaks. Great night. And I thought it was over. The Pacers were leading for most of the game. They were up by 10 in the third, went into the fourth up 7. But a key adjustment that Mark Dagnall made was in the first half, and even in the third quarter, he had Jalen Williams, Caruso, Cason Wallace, everyone else bringing the ball up. And he rested Shea earlier. I think he usually plays the entire first. So he made sure Shea had less of a load in the first 3 quarters. And then we saw what he did. I think he had 14 points in the fourth. I think he scored 11 in the last 3 minutes. Outscored the Pacers in clutch time himself.
Just keeps his bag fresher for the fourth quarter. And also just a different look at the Pacers are probably used to what they're seeing for 3 quarters. They're locked into that. And then you get a full dose of Shea in the fourth. Smart.
But that was like genius shit right there. And I was happy to see them go back to their 2 big. They finally went back to their like regular season starting lineup. And they abused them on the boards, which is in game 1, they lost on the boards big time. But one of the most shocking things you'll ever see is 8% 3-point shooting. I think they were 3 for 17 in this modern NBA. I kind of like it. Like, I grew up a Kobe mid-range, fan, Jordan. So that was crazy. And one thing I've been complaining a shit ton about is they don't fucking pass the ball. They had 10 assists. So the fact that they won with 10 assists as a team, Shea had 0 and 3 threes is insane. And I just can't wait for the next couple games, man, because this has been a back and forth battle of pain.
Everybody knew the OKC Thunder going into this. Best team in the league, best record in the league. Most talked about roster probably for being the deepest. The Pacers, not so much. Outside of Halliburton, whose stock has risen the most on this Pacers run? Because these are mostly unknowns. Nembhard, I didn't know Naismith till he went fucking nuclear on the Knicks. I never even seen this guy before. Yeah. Like, it's a roster of relatively unknown players whose stock is rising. Like, a lot of them have in general. But if you had to pick one, who's been the most impressive? Nembhard? That guy's a dog, man.
I love him. And it's funny because after the game, I looked at the box score because I'm like, yo, it felt like I'm rooting for OKC, and it felt like he kept hitting the clutchest baskets to maintain the lead, or they tie it, he'd hit a 3 or 2. In my head, it felt like he went 10 for 10. I went and looked and he was 4 for 9. But they were just they were timely buckets. Every one was very important. Nembhard, it's crazy because Siakam is like arguably the biggest star. I guess it's Halliburton these days, but like he's maybe the least talked about star in the NBA. Multi-time All-Star, champion, now Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So I'm happy for him getting like the bigger spotlight on him. Ex-Raptor, so we always got love. But that's a good question, and I don't really have an answer. Like, I feel like they've all had moments. Like McConnell in Game 3, that's all everyone was talking about. Mathurin in Game 3, 27 points.
Dude, Mathurin looks like he's like hard crazy to play against. Yeah, he would piss you off, but he scares you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to. You want to tell him to F off, but like he might hit you in the face if you do it, man.
Yeah. Even if they lose, I just have so much respect for everything they've done this year, man. They're incredible to watch. Obi Toppin driving me crazy, man. This
dude,
guy,
He's
Just
got-
can't
he's
miss
making
from
some
3.
plays, bro.
Put back dunks, like all the backbreakers.
Yeah. Thomas Bryant getting some run, doing his thing.
Yeah, fucking wicked team, man. Wicked team. Now it's funny because they weren't even in the championship. Like, you know how I am. I'm like a bit of a softie, and I want everyone to win. Like I always want everyone's legacy that I like, which is most of the league. But I didn't even have the Pacers in there. Now, if the Pacers lose this, I want them to win one with this core at some point for all their legacies, because it's, you know,
That's the next question. Two not unlikely teams, but the Pacers it was unlikely they were going to make it here, right? Can they get back here?
Bro, look at the East. I really think they can. And like I said last week, it's a copycat league. I'm so interested to see some of these offseason moves. Did you see the breaking news today?
KD's going to choose his team or something?
No.
He picked 3 teams?
Big trade for actual NBA nerds, but not like if you're a casual fan, but you know, and you have respect for this dude. Desmond Bane just got acquired by the Orlando Magic.
That's good.
Yeah, for KCP, Cole Anthony, and 4 unprotected first-round picks. Bro.
Holy fuck.
Yo, it's
That's
crazy. But they're in win now mode. You got to respect it. But the thing that just trips me out with these trades is like, yo,
the Grizzlies blowing it up?
Yeah, well, that begs the question, who's next? Are they going to trade Jaren Jackson? They're going to trade Ja? Like, I don't know what they're doing.
I think I would have kept Bane over Ja.
Same, bro.
Jaren Jackson
is a dog.
Had an awful year, but he can be better, I feel like. And he's a big, so they're valuable. But I would prefer Bane to almost the rest of that whole roster.
Yeah, because Bane gets hurt up here and there too, but like Ja's just unreliable, and the off the court shit. But Bane's a dog. I think the East is wide open, so I wasn't really surprised to see that, because you just see the Pacers make it to the finals.
Yeah,
anyone could make it next year, even Orlando. So
I think Detroit's the next one up.
I would love to see that. Orlando's biggest hole this year, I thought, was 3-point shooting. I actually think they were the worst 3-point shooting team, and Bane is an absolute sniper. So good trade, but goddamn, giving up those assets. But then you want to call out the Knicks because they gave up 5 fucking first rounders for Mikal Bridges, who's not even an all-star. I think Bane was an all-star once. They gave up more for a non-all-star, which is insane. And then the Rudy Gobert trade, I think that was 4 or 5 firsts as well.
They don't care about the picks,
but they went to the conference finals twice, and the Knicks just went first tee with Mikal.
There's only 2 rounds in the draft, right?
Yeah.
It's a weird draft. Such a small. I mean, because the team's so small, I guess. Right?
Yeah. The second rounders barely ever pan out too, but yeah, it's crazy. I think we might see a bit of an arms race in the East, because everyone's looking around like, oh, Tatum's out. The Pacers just made it. The Cavs.
We should do a crazy rebuild. We should trade all our guys. I hate our roster construction.
Same. I do not understand what the hell.
There's not one or 2 guys that, like, people like Scotty Barnes. I'm not even that big on him, man.
Me neither.
Like, push him out too. Let's start completely fresh, man.
Fool can't shoot. Yeah. But yeah, exciting. I can't wait to see if Giannis stays or goes. KD, I think he narrowed it down to like the Heat,
3 teams.
the Spurs, and Houston.
Dude, the Spurs would be crazy to see. Well, only time will tell.
Wait. My dream for KD, I feel like I keep forgetting to fucking say this every week.
The Knicks?
I don't think it's going to happen. No. My dream, and I don't think it can happen anymore, because if OKC wins, but I've just wanted him to go back to OKC.
That ain't happening.
That would make up for all the shit. If OKC lost in the conference finals or something, and then he could go and get them over the top. But obviously you can't go there if they win, because then he'll get shit on.
Yeah.
But just all the shit he's been through since leaving, the cupcake shit. Imagine he went back and just got them their first championship. Like, that would be such a nice ending.
I think Houston would be a better spot.
Yeah, that would be great too. But
I mean, he picked 3 good teams. If he gets to go to one of those 3, it's a good spot no matter what.
Miami? What the fuck? I guess the East is open, but
retirement.
I don't know. I want him to win a championship, man. I got love for KD. He could be annoying, but
Yeah.
he was
All right,
coming
y'all.
at people in DMs like me this week. Fuck y'all out there, you dig?
Who are you going after?
Just people were pissing me off this week, man.
In our DMs?
Yeah, you didn't see that one?
No.
Fuck, I don't want to name names, but some
Off-air
kook-
conversation.
Yeah. Couple
One more.
kooks.
Big shout out to Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. Came back with a big win over Joaquin Buckley. Put his wrestling on display, showing people he ain't fucking done yet. He was a little emotional in the speech afterwards, but he hasn't won a fight in like 2-3 years. Off the heels of one of the greatest runs at welterweight of all time. Super happy for Kamaru. Excited to see who his next fight is. The Nigerian Nightmare, dude.
That's what's up.
Fucking go.
And then one more shout out. This homie JJ Spawn. Is that how you
Won
say
the
his
U.S.
name?
Open.
Won the U.S. Open today, and I saw in Malto's story that he gets down on the board. Wait for
Hold it. Here it comes. Backside flip. Just like yours, Safa.
Yo, just like P-Rod's. He said at least 15 years since I've landed one of these. Let's go, baby. So
That's
shout out to
fucking
him.
epic. Skaters taking over the world, man. All right, y'all. Season finale next week. You know where to find it. Peace.